Naruto Namikaze, son of the Hokage, woke up every morning to a life that only few could wish for. He was born into one of the greatest families, he had lots of friends, everyone loved him, and he pretty much was a known figure all around Konoha. What people did not know about him was he was the Jinchuriki of the most feared creature that the world has ever laid eyes upon, the Kyuubi no Yoko. Naruto himself did not know of the best that inhabited his very being. His parents Minato and Kushina were so very happy that no one knew of who he actually was. They feared that he would be hated for the beast that lived inside. They all knew what common citizens were like. They would all jump to conclusions thinking of Naruto and the Kyuubi as one entity and would shun him from society. The only people who knew that the Kyuubi was inside of Naruto were Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Konoha's two advisors, who were for the first time quiet about a matter of this proportion. They knew what Minato would do if they blabbed. To Minato and Kushina, Naruto was a normal boy, though he excelled as a ninja and was currently favored to be Genin of the Year. Naruto was not a beast, and the Kyuubi had never affected him. They always thanked old Sarutobi Hiruzen for keeping their family together, as it was Minato who planned to seal the Kyuubi that fateful night. Naruto's room. The sound of an alarm filled the room, gradually getting louder and louder. Naruto seemed to always sleep through his alarm for 1 minute before the sound finally reached him. His facial expression would always go from flat to a kind of beast-like look. His mouth would open and his teeth would grind on each other. A faint growl could be heard from the boy before he would eventually open his eyes, where his expression dissipated, changing back to the usual smile that was on the boy's face. Minato had watched this once before and always laughed to himself about how his son could be so funny when he slept, though it did make him think once he is more like a Inuzuka when he sleeps. Did Kushina? No, she wouldn't, she is allergic to dogs. Naruto pulled himself out of bed. He was definitely not a morning person. He was slouched in his pajamas. He slowly walked to the bathroom, brushing his teeth, then having his morning shower. He then styled his hair in spikes just like his father. Walking back to his bedroom, he got changed into his regular clothes, what consisted of a white shirt with an insignia of his clan on the front, black and orange trousers on the right leg. He attached a kunai holster, a jacket that was colored black and orange. His clothes were primarily black, but had orange parts to the clothing. He did this so he wouldn't always stick out and still got to wear his favorite color. Finally, his favorite piece of clothing, it was his trench coat. Unlike his father's, which was white with orange flames, his was black with white flames. Even though Naruto insisted that he wanted an orange coat, his father wouldn't allow it, knowing how easy it was to spot the color orange. And well, Naruto, even though he was a genius ninja, his intelligence still wasn't the best.
Satisfied with his appearance, Naruto ran to the dining room of his home, waiting for breakfast to be served. Naruto was a patient person, but when it came to food, Kazen, where's the ramen? Naruto asked comically, looking confused that there was no ramen in front of his eyes. The stomach of the young Namikaze rumbled, seemingly crying that food was still being cooked. Whilst Naruto was doing his complaining, Minato rushed downstairs, ran to his seat and, Kushi-chan, where's the ramen? Kushina just stared at the fully grown man, a visible twitch in her eye. What is it, dear? Minato asked his red-haired wife, getting slightly scared. I can understand Naruto doing something so childish, but Minato doing it is well kind of irritating to me, Kushina thought to herself, trying to make sure she didn't allow Minato to catch on to her frustration. Two-san, why isn't there ramen? Naruto asked his father, puzzled how the food he desired wasn't in his mouth right now. I was thinking the same thing, Minato replied, then jokingly stared at his wife, who seemed to go bright red and a vein appeared on her head. Seeing this, Minato did the one safe thing: shut up. If you two don't stop complaining about ramen, I will pour all this into the trash. The two men were instantly filled with a look of horror. Seeing this, Kushina smiled sadistically and asked them, so what will it be? Minato spoke up first, please calm down, Kushi-chan, we wouldn't want to hurt the ramen, Minato told his wife, trying to calm her down. Hurt the ramen? Kushina asked with an angry tone, her eyes burning with fire as she gazed at the yondaime. Hurt the ramen? I never said that. I said hurt yourself. Minato said in a panic, trying to get out of the predicament he was now in. But Two-san, you didn't. Before Naruto finished his sentence, Minato looked at him as if to say, you say that and your training will be doubled. Naruto shut up before his mother asked. You didn't. she asked, knowing she had backed the two into the corner. You did not say that, Naruto replied gingerly. Kushina realized she had tortured them long enough and left it at that and finally served the two their ramen. They were highly appreciative due to her ramen recipe was the best. That's good old Uzumaki ramen. After the two men finished stuffing their faces, they looked directly up to the clock. Oh crap, I'm gonna be late, they shouted in unison. Once again she couldn't believe how alike the two were. She smiled slightly but was still trying to find herself in the young boy. She knew he could use fast movement jutsu like his father but was wondering if he inherited her key ability. Only time would tell. Naruto looked at his father who just smiled. Naruto waved to Minato who disappeared into a yellow flash. Minato always kept a three-pronged kunai in the office for this sort of situation. He arrived at his desk just on time, slightly scaring his assistants who didn't see him enter. Naruto ran over to his mother, gave her a kiss and told her see you later Kazan, and with it he shunshined a couple of times and arrived at the academy gates just on time with a broad smile. Naruto learned shunshin as a way to emulate his father. He couldn't use Hiroshin yet but was hoping to learn to someday. He was primarily a taijutsu fighter with good ninjutsu, though it wasn't his forte. He still tried to improve on his ninjutsu all the time. Walking through the gates of the academy he was greeted with respect from teachers and ninjas who were entering the grand building. Naruto walked through the front doors, slowly walking down the hallway to Iruka Yumano's classroom. He always got a little unnerved when he entered the classroom. It was always the same reaction. A small shadow of Naruto could be seen through the glass on the door. It wasn't see-through, so it was only a silhouette of the boy, but everyone knew he was coming. The door crept open quietly, trying to avoid attention, but Naruto-kun was screamed by nearly the entire female populace of the classroom. A few of them flung themselves at him, trying to get close to the boy. Naruto just looked terrified. He wasn't gay, he loved girls, but he didn't love fangirls. All the boys wished they were him, but he knew if they were in his situation they would feel the same way. Only two girls in the entire class didn't react to the Naruto charm. They were both from prestigious families such as him. They were Hinata Hyuga, who always seemed to blush when Naruto talked to her, and Suzuki Uchiha. Naruto thought that if he ever fell for any girl in this class, it would be one of them. Naruto managed to get out of the swarm of fangirls and rushed to his seat. Sitting next to the blonde was Suzuki Uchiha. She wore a form-fitting tank top with the Uchiha crest and a beige skirt that came down to her middle thighs. Naruto just stared at the raven-haired beauty. Suzuki, slightly irritated, turned to the blonde and asked, "Why do you keep looking at me?" in an angry tone that would have scared most people. Luckily Naruto's mom was worse, so he wasn't scared at all. "Because you're so cute. Should I have another reason?" Naruto replied to the girl. It obviously had an effect because she went bright red from the comment. Naruto just smiled at this and looked toward Iruka, trying to make it seem as if he was listening, though he knew all this stuff already. An hour passed and the Uchiha was still blushing. She couldn't believe it. The academy's hottest boy said she was cute, and of all the time she had known the blonde he had never called another girl that. Suzuki had a lot of fanboys, but she was too low in confidence. She was always thought of as a failure by her father due to her brother Itachi, the family prodigy, and due to constantly ignoring her, she believed she was inferior. She strived to be better than Itachi but was always put down by her father. Naruto made his way out of the classroom. It was lunchtime, so the blonde decided to join his friends on the grass, just trying to escape the girls for a few minutes. He knew it was a compliment to have them after him, but he always felt as if it were a curse, not a blessing. Choji, Shikamaru and Kiba were often the people he ate dinner with, but the same conversation always arose. Kiba always complained that since every girl went after Naruto, all the other boys, including him, felt put out when they even tried to strike a conversation with him. Naruto always sighed, claiming he hated the attention. All the boys couldn't believe it. They liked Naruto but at the same time felt jealous. The only people who didn't seem to care were Shikamaru and Shino. Suzuki was with all the other girls, but as usual the same conversation arose. It was about Naruto being the most perfect boy around. They said he had a good sense of humor, he was polite and also strong. His body spoke for itself as it was extremely hot, and the cute whisker marks on his cheeks made everything better. Suzuki, however, acted completely differently to usual. Instead of ignoring the conversation altogether, she started to nod her head more to each comment. When the girls noticed this, she instantly blushed. "What is it, Suzuki? You never seemed interested in Naruto-kun before," the pink-haired girl of the group asked. "It's nothing." Suzuki staggered quietly under her breath. When it came to matters of love, Suzuki couldn't speak properly. Suzuki, the more she thought about her lie, the more she blushed. After constantly nagging the raven-haired girl, she caved. "Naruto-kun said I was cute." Suzuki staggered, making all the fangirls turn red-faced with anger. the man they had been chasing for years and never gave them attention, tells a girl who wasn't even interested in him that she's cute. It was an event that wasn't acceptable to them.
The whole group just growled at Suzuki, who just nervously looked at the floor. She was a strong girl and definitely in the top 2 most talented ninja in the academy this year, but she still didn't want to fight them. They all pounced at her like a predator that has cornered its prey when. "Hey Suzuki-chan, what's going on here?" shouted an enthusiastic blonde boy. All the girls stopped their charge. They didn't want to look bad in front of the object of their affection. "And nothing, Naruto-ke." She cut off the kun. She didn't want to look more suspicious in front of the girls. "Want to eat the rest of my lunch with me?" shouted Naruto to the raven-haired girl. What just made her blush like crazy? She nodded and walked slowly over to him, making all the girls behind her scowl like crazy, especially the pink-haired banshee. Naruto took Suzuki to a tree where it was just the two of them. He had nothing romantic involved, he just wanted to help her out. He knew what the girls were about to do and he couldn't allow it to happen. They chatted for a while and moved on to a conversation about their dreams. Naruto told the girl that he wanted to be Hokage, so he could finally show everyone that he was Naruto Namake's, not the son of the Yondaime. Suzuki seemed shocked by this. Naruto had a dream of stepping out of someone's shadow just like she did. "So Suzuki-chan, what is your dream?" Naruto eagerly awaited her answer, wanting to know what drove the girl to try so hard. "Well, because I was born an Uchiha, I am constantly under pressure to perform/succeed. My brother Itachi-sama is a prodigy and I am always stuck in his shadow. My father never acknowledges me because I am inferior to him. That is my long-term dream. However, I have a short-term dream to activate my Sharingan," Suzuki told the blonde boy. "Wow, that's quite a dream, Suzuki. I have a question though, what does it feel like to have the Sharingan activate? I know you haven't done it yet, but you must have heard stories." "Well, your eyesight increases immensely. You also have this weird feeling like an eruption of chakra signaling the activation for the first time, or so I have heard." "I have felt that before," Naruto said, shocking the young girl to no end. "You couldn't have, Naruto. You need to possess a dojutsu to feel that," Sasuke told him, trying to understand why the blonde who was supposedly a genius would think such a thing. "You never know. My mom's heritage isn't completely known. She hasn't told me anything about her life as a ninja, so all is possible." And with that everything went quiet. A few minutes passed and the academy bell chimed. It was time for lessons again. Once again the lesson dragged on. Naruto was being told facts he already knew. His mother had forced education on him since he was very young, and so all this was child's play to someone like Naruto. Whilst the hours dwindled on, Naruto was in daydream, thinking about what Suzuki had told him about the activation of the Sharingan. If it was how she said it, he had felt the same thing once before during a training session with his father. Naruto was getting increasingly frustrated with Minato's speed even without Hiroshin, but then everything seemed clear. He could track everything, but he still couldn't block him. His father was just too good. "Maybe I should ask Ka-san about this. It is really making me curious now." Lessons ended, but before they left they were informed by Irika-sensei that the Genin exams would be taking place tomorrow and that all students should get enough rest for the task ahead. Many of the students in the room gulped, knowing if they failed they would be stuck at the academy for another year. Only 2 people were absolutely confident. They were Suzuki Uchiha and Naruto Namake's, the prized pupils of this year's class. Naruto quietly left his seat, drawing little attention to himself, trying to remain hidden in the crowd of students trying to leave class. But since the girls knew where he sat they all waited. Naruto was grabbed by 2 girls once again, but this time Naruto was allowed to escape. He shunshined away from them, appearing outside near a tall sakura tree. Suzuki looked out the window to see the boy, his hair swaying in the light wind, the coat he wore rustling side to side as cherry blossom petals fell around him. "So hot," Suzuki thought to herself, staring in a trance at the boy. After moments of staring he realized he was making a beckoning gesture to her. Upon seeing this she left the class at lightning speed, appearing in front of the blonde. "Hey Suzuki-chan, thanks for today," the blonde told the girl who was just staring at him with lust in her eyes. What for Naruto-kun?" Suzuki ceased up after she realized she called him Naruto-kun. "Keeping me company," he replied, giving her a kiss on her forehead before disappearing with a shunshin. Suzuki just went lightheaded and fell asleep on the tree trunk. "What's happening to me?" she thought. Naruto appeared at his estate with a cheesy grin on his face. He kissed Suzuki without feeling nervous or being hit afterwards. Yep, it had been a pretty good day for the blonde. As he walked through the Namake's estate, he was greeted by many clan members who referred to him as Naruto-sama, due to he was the heir to their family and they needed to show respect towards the young blonde. He finally reached the mansion that was his house. Entering the gigantic structure, he called out, "Ka-san, I'm home," who smiled at the boy's arrival. She was still pondering on what she thought about earlier. Would he gain her key ability that only she remaining had? The boy rushed over to his mother looking hyperactive and buzzing a little. She knew this only happened when he was really anxious to know something or when he had too much sugar. She guessed it would be the first. "What is it, sweetie?" she asked her son, who just groaned at his mother's comment. "Ka-san, this may be a weird question, but do you, have a special ninja ability?" "Why would you ask that?" Kushina curiously asked the young blonde. "Well, Suzuki-chan told me about when a dojutsu activates and I have felt all that before when training with Tusan before." Naruto rushed out his words in a slur that only his parents could understand. "Yay, I can't believe it. He may have my bloodline. Some of Naruto's very being may be me, because everything else about him is just like his father." His mother thought excitedly. "Well, sweetie, I do have a bloodline, but it is very hard to come across. Only I have unlocked it in generations of my clan. It is a dojutsu that is known as the fourth most prized dojutsu. It may not allow us to copy moves or see a full 360 degrees, but it does allow us to sense all chakra and pinpoint sources indefinitely. It also has the ability to prevent tunnel vision and genjutsu like most dojutsu. It can also sense a chakra-based attack coming towards you from any angle. The favorite thing about this dojutsu is it puts a complete shroud around out jutsu, meaning no one can copy it, making it the bane of all Sharingan copiers." His mother told him. "So it's possible that I have this dojutsu, Ka-san?" Naruto asked very quickly. It was obvious he was hyper. "Yes, and I believe we can test it right now. Focus your chakra into your eyes and declare Sakugan." Naruto followed her instructions, and as he suspected, his blue eyes changed slightly. Instead of having black pupils, they changed to a silver color. His eyes were now blue and silver, proving he had the Sakugan. "Sweetie, you did it, Kushina exclaimed joyously, jumping up and down with happiness. She now had something in common with her son. He had inherited her Sakugan. She could finally train the boy in something other than knowledge and kicking taijutsu techniques. "Ka-san, why didn't Tusan know I had this when we were training?" the boy asked inquisitively. "Well, your eye's natural color is blue, which is what the same as the Sakugan's, which basically means it would have been hard for Minato to see the difference in your eyes, that's all," she told the young man. "Ka-san, I have a question. Does this mean my taijutsu can improve more because of it?" "Well, that fact you can avoid chakra-based attacks easier makes it a massive advantage for a taijutsu fighter such as yourself. Plus your style of taijutsu is unique, meaning it is already a formidable style. All in all, Naruto, the Sakugan will help you greatly," Kushina told him with a gigantic smile on her face. Minato arrived home 4 hours after the mother and son talk, and only minutes after Minato got back he was already bombarded by Naruto, telling him about his new skill. After Minato took everything in, he realized that Naruto with the dojutsu could even surpass a Hyuga's gentle fist. They had a regular dinner time discussion, some about ramen and some about daily events. Naruto also made the mistake of telling his parents that the Genin exams were tomorrow. In saying this, Naruto was sent to bed before he could muster another word. "So Kushi-chan, what do you think of our little Naruto-kun?" Minato asked his wife with a smile on his face, beaming white with a slight ting noise. This was similar to what Mato Guy did, but when Minato did it, women just melted. "I couldn't be more proud of him right now. I know as well as anyone how hard it is to unlock the dojutsu, and with his special taijutsu he is going to be something one day," Kushina replied, looking at her husband in the eyes. Minato suffered from sudden impulsiveness and asked, "Wanna do it?" Later on that night, screams could be heard from the Namake's mansion, the name Minato repeated around 1,000,000 times, screams of ecstasy, whilst muffled noises were heard from what sounded like a man. Luckily enough, Naruto could sleep through a nuclear explosion, so they were safe. The next day, a similar breakfast scene happened. but this time Naruto left on time for the academy. Hearing the words behind him, get Rookie of the Year or no ramen for a year, the threat gave Naruto incentive to work harder than ever before. He was one of the first to arrive at the academy. He rested under his regular sakura tree. He did a few taijutsu practices whilst waiting for the academy to actually open. Naruto had one of the best feelings in his life about the test. He couldn't wait to show the senseis at the academy his own personal taijutsu style, which was a fusion of his parents' style. Students piled into the academy, all but a few looking nervous. Irika told the class that the exams would take place as followed. First, the genjutsu exam, which would consist of dispelling a genjutsu casted upon them. Performing one genjutsu would get you extra credit. Secondly would be the written exam, followed by the taijutsu exam, and finally the ninjutsu exam, where you needed to perform all of the academy's jutsu perfectly or a variant of the techniques to pass. It was lucky that Naruto knew this in advance and prepared a specialized bunshin jutsu for that part.
Each student made their way to examination area. Each student had to wait outside until the test was over. All the students before Naruto walked out with big smiles on their faces. They must have passed. Shame, this is the only exam I fear. Thank God for my Sakugan, I should activate it now. And under his breath he mumbled Sakugan. His pupils changed to silver and he smiled happily. Naruto entered the room, instantly knowing he was under a genjutsu thanks to his eyes. He dispelled it with ease, then called out genjutsu, angry woman technique. With that, millions of women appeared in front of the examiner shouting words that would make a man cower in fear. Dispelling the jutsu, Naruto left the room with a big smile on his face. I thought I was a goner, Irika said to himself after witnessing the genjutsu. From what Naruto witnessed, no one failed the genjutsu exam. This filled the boy with happiness. He was glad that even though his fangirls were obsessed with him 24/7, they still did a little training. He was glad that he wasn't pulling anyone back. The written exam was the easiest part of the exam yet. Naruto could answer these questions with his eyes closed. He found it amusing that some people didn't have a clue with the answers. Naruto was lucky that his mother trained him in academics all those years ago. The part of the exam that Naruto was relishing was now upon them, the taijutsu exam. He wanted to set a new academy record for hitting the sensei. The fastest ever was 48.978 seconds by Itachi Uchiha, and Naruto aimed to beat it with all his might. Hinata Hyuga had the best time yet. It took her 1 minute 7 seconds to hit Mizuki sensei, which was quite an impressive feat knowing that he was near Jounin level. Naruto Namikaze, you're up next, Mizuki instructed. All the girls parted for Naruto to step in front of Mizuki. All of them were whispering under their breath, do you think Naruto-kun can set a new record? Many of the girls asked, whilst Suzuki just listened in, hoping for him to do it and at the same time not to beat her brother's time. She wanted that record for herself. So style will you be using, Naruto-kun? Mizuki inquired to the young boy who looked up at him with a grin. My own personal style, my Abita Handu, Naruto told his sensei, who just smirked at his reply. A personal style? I see how this is going to end, Naruto-kun. Why don't you do something more traditional? He replied smugly. Nope, I am satisfied with my style. It is a combination of my parents' respected styles, and with it I will finish this in under 40 seconds. The confident blonde replied. All the girls hung on his every word. Find your loss, Naruto-kun, the man said before charging straight at the boy who just stood still, waiting for his turn. Mizuki used a style which relied on chakra-enhanced attacks. In knowing this, Naruto activated his Sakugan and stood still with his eyes closed. Many attacks were thrown by Mizuki, not one connected. 30 seconds had passed and Mizuki was smirking. Thought you said it would be over in 40 seconds, Naruto-kun, he reminded the blonde. Don't worry, I will end it now then, Naruto replied as a chakra-enhanced kick was sent towards his face. He bent backwards, still eyes shut, hiding his Sakugan. Dance of the Azalea, shouted Naruto. He was now low down on the floor, supported by one arm, swiping his leg towards the man. He knew what would happen next. Mizuki jumped as expected, allowing Naruto to continue with the dance by using his arm to push his body more vertical, propelling himself off the ground, landing a kick in Mizuki's ribcage. Now I will show you what my style can do, Naruto shouted just after his kick hit Mizuki. Naruto disappeared from his spot in the air, appearing above Mizuki, whose back was towards him. Then via rotation his speed increased, making a devastating stamp/kick to his back, sending Mizuki back to earth in lots of pain. Naruto just landed calmly and asked, what was my time? Pulling himself back to his feet groggily, he said 37.9, the fastest time in the history of the academy. Naruto-kun, how did you know my strikes before I did them? Mizuki asked curiously. Sorry, I can't say that. I will just say it is because your attacks were chakra-based, Naruto replied before walking over to his favorite tree to have a nap. I really need one of these trees in the estate, they really relax me, the boy thought to himself. When Naruto awoke, he asked what his fellow students' times were. He realized Suzuki also beat Itachi's record by fractions of a second, though it didn't seem like much. It really made the young girl happy, and seeing this Naruto smiled softly. The final exam was the ninjutsu exam. As usual, Naruto had it easy. He knew all of the academy jutsus like the back of his hand, easily casting all but the academy's bunshin, and instead he used shadow clones, which highly impressed the teachers who were present. Now Naruto-kun, do you know any other jutsu? Irika asked quietly to his favorite student. Well, I have only two. One is Shunshin, what all of you have seen, and number 2 is wind style, condensed gale. After performing the jutsu, the judges were more than satisfied. Irika told Naruto that he passed yet another exam, thus is now a Genin, but the official results of who came first was to be released tomorrow, just before the teams get announced. Naruto smiled, grabbing a headband, and walked out of the office, confronted by many girls who congratulated him on passing the exam, but Naruto wasn't interested in the slightest. He walked straight up to Suzuki and whispered congratulations on surpassing Itachi in the taijutsu exam and headed off home. After much conversation over Naruto's new life as a ninja, his parents decided to try and get an idea who was going to be Rookie of the Year. Minato was going to ask Irika, but decided it would be better to find out when he is told. Minato had already created the Genin teams for this year and was sure his son would love who he paired him with. Next day, Naruto shunshined to the academy, eager to know who the best ninja was this year. He couldn't lose his ramen, and he would die before that happened. The academy hadn't opened yet, so as usual he relaxed on his tree, collecting his thoughts as pink petals brushed his face softly. Another figure arrived early that day. After looking at the figure for a minute, he realized who this person was. Hey Suzuki-chan, come here, shouted Naruto kindly. Just the sound of his voice made Suzuki blush recently. She gingerly walked over to the boy who told her to take a seat next to him. She reluctantly did so and felt a warm arm around her shoulder. Don't be so uptight around me, Suzuki-chan. I feel a little saddened when you do. These words made her blush even more. Before she knew it, she had placed her head on his shoulder and was slowly drifting off to sleep. Minato, who had been watching this in his crystal ball, shouted, "Get in there, Naruto." I knew I made the right choice with Suzuki. The female students all witnessed Suzuki sleeping on Naruto, using him as a pillow. They were furious. He was their Naruto pillow-sen, but Suzuki once again stole him. She would pay one day for her actions, everyone thought. The one pink-haired girl thought beyond that, to even killing her. Her alter ego was kicking in again. After a boring speech of how they were all going to become full-fledged ninja now, Irika announced the results of the exams. Kunoichi of the year goes to Suzuki Uchiha, who just smiled. She knew this was going to be the case and wasn't very surprised by the result. Shinobi of the year goes to Naruto Namikaze, who also didn't look very surprised. His smirk was evident to that. And finally, Rookie of the year goes to Naruto Namikaze. Irika announced. No one was surprised, though Suzuki was disappointed. She still knew that she did well, getting at least second spot, especially against a genius ninja like Naruto. Now that all the formalities are out of the way, I will announce your Genin teams. Naruto ignored everything until Team 7 will consist of Naruto Namikaze. At this, every girl in the room gasped. Sakura Haruno, the pink-haired girl, jumped out of her chair screaming yes. About the announcement, you could hear a noise of wood smashing, and everyone looked to Naruto to see his head had been put through the table. And finally, Suzuki Uchiha. At the sound of this, Naruto's head perked up, whilst the pink-haired girl scowled and all the other girls looked depressed at the announcement. Your Jonin sensei will be Kakashi Hatake. Naruto jumped into the air first, raised high. He got a near-perfect team. Team 8 will consist of Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka, and Shino Aburame. Kiba smiled at this, knowing he had at least one good-looking girl on his team. Team 10 will be Shikamaru Nara, Ino Yamanaka, and Choji Akamichi. Once all of the teams were announced, the recently declared Team 7 walked to their meeting room, awaiting the arrival of their sensei and the start of their ninja path.
Three teens entered a separate classroom awaiting the arrival of one Kakashi Hatake, their designated Jonin sensei. Naruto walked right to the teacher's desk and just sat there bored beyond belief, just looking drearily at the clock as the minute hand moved slower and slower. "Isn't a Jonin-level ninja supposed to be early?" moaned a pissed of Sakura. She had never heard of the infamous Kakashi, the man who made someone wait for 2 days before he finally arrived, telling everyone a black cat crossed my path, so I needed to find another way. The only reason Naruto knew that was the fact he was the one waiting for 2 days. Even after that, he loved Kakashi as a brother figure. Time still slowly passed. Very dazed looks came from the pink-haired vulture who always tried to get him when his back was turned. "I will have to be careful with her around. I don't want her getting too close," Naruto thought as he moved awkwardly. A set of green eyes followed Naruto as he approached the raven-haired girl who was just looking out the window, presumably daydreaming. Naruto's firm hand landed on the Uchiha's shoulder. She knew that touch and shivered at the feel of it. She was sure it was Naruto. "Why doesn't he do that to me?" thought Sakura, scowling at Suzuki. However, this was met by Naruto's angry glare, forcing the pinkette to look away nervously. "You okay, Suzuki-chan? You look a little, how I call it, disinterested." The blonde asked Suzuki. She was usually talkative around him, so he didn't understand what it could be now. "Why, yes, I am fine, Naruto-kun. I am just getting severely bored waiting now," she replied, whispering back to the boy. "Don't worry, he will be here in 2 minutes," Naruto replied, sounding confident in his word. "How do you know that?" she replied to him curiously. "Well, I know Kakashi Hatake. He was my father's student, and he is like a brother or an uncle to me. I have known him my whole life. Don't worry, he won't make us wait much longer, that much I can promise," Naruto said whilst nodding along to his own comments. "If you say so, Naruto-kun," she replied, teasing the boy who just smiled at her. Once again, green eyes of jealousy were fixated on the young Uchiha. Sakura was just speaking to herself, and it didn't sound completely sane. All Naruto heard was Suzuki. "Kunai." Fake apology, quite peculiar, Naruto remarked to himself as he walked to the door. "He will be here in 5 seconds," Naruto announced, drawing the attention of the two girls. As Naruto predicted, Kakashi walked through the door on exactly 5 seconds, staring at his students. He smiled at the blonde, who replied with a silent nod. His eyes diverted to the female Uchiha sitting near the window, shocked that Naruto guessed his time of arrival perfectly. Then his eyes were pulled to someone he knew he wasn't going to like much. She had pink hair and green eyes and seemed to talk to herself. "My first impression of you guys is, I hate you," he said this whilst only looking at Sakura with his finger pointing at her. This made Naruto laugh uncontrollably. He then whispered in Kakashi's ear, "I thought the same thing," who also started laughing. Suzuki and Sakura just sweat dropped at the two boys who were laughing hysterically. The two finally stopped laughing. They would need to think of an excuse for why it was so funny, so Naruto took advantage. "I was laughing because Kakashi only reads porn because he can't get any." Kakashi nodded in agreement when he realized, "Hey, what the F?" It was drowned out by Naruto's laughing. The two girls started laughing at Naruto's comment whilst the glaring Kakashi was thinking of how he would punish Naruto. Maybe he would ask Minato to extend Naruto's training, but knowing Minato, he would just laugh as well. "All right, meet on the roof of this building in 2 minutes," Kakashi ordered, disappearing from sight. Naruto grabbed Suzuki by the waist. "Hold on tight," he ordered before using Shunshin, disappearing to the roof, leaving Sakura in the room. Unfortunately, she made it to the roof on time. "Okay then, now that we are all up here, I think we might as well tell each other a little bit about ourselves, including dreams, hobbies, and favorite places, things like that," Kakashi told the group of 3 ninja. He then looked at the group scrolling along them, about to pick the first one when, "Hey sensei, shouldn't you tell us a little bit about yourself?" the pink-haired girl asked. It was actually a good question which surprised Naruto. "Well, I have hobbies and dislikes, nothing that interests you. Now you blondie." Kakashi diverted the conversation. Naruto decided not to show him up anymore and tell everyone about himself. "Well, I am Naruto Namikaze, son of the Yandame Hokage. My dream is to become Hokage just like my father. I would love to step out of his shadow and prove I am more than just the son of a Hokage. My hobbies include training, eating ramen, and also being very calm and relaxed as I love being surrounded by nature. It helps me construct my thoughts. About a favorite place I would have to say at this moment in time, it's the sakura tree outside the academy or Ichiraku's ramen. I like people who aren't false and want to know me for me, not my status or family. I dislike those who would only want to be associated with me due to my relation with the yandere. My ninja way is never go back on your word, Naruto told all present. Kakashi seemed impressed at his words. He really sounded mature. The two girls were looking at the blonde dreamily, though Sakura really only liked him for his brilliant looks, how tall he was in compared to others, and his social status. She drowned all parts of Naruto's speech that would have made her on his dislike list. Okay, thank you for that, Naruto. How about you, cutie? Kakashi asked, and Sakura instantly started speaking. Ahem, I met Suzuki, Kakashi told the pink-haired girl who wasn't so impressed. Well, I am Suzuki Uchiha of the Uchiha clan. My dream is to be the best ninja the Uchiha clan have ever produced and become head of ANBU, which is a position my brother is so close to attaining. My dream, like Naruto, also includes stepping out of somebody's shadow, and in my case it's Itachi Naisama. My father always compares me to him, making me seem inferior. I also wish to awaken my Sharingan soon. My hobbies include training, playing with Itachi Naisama, and daydreaming occasionally when I am bored. My favorite place would have to be the garden area in my family's estate, as it is so tranquil. I like people who try and get to know the real me. I dislike those who judge me before they know me. My ninja way is aim high and never give in, Suzuki told her teammates. She got a nod of agreement from Naruto, making her blush slightly, trying to avoid eye contact.
Thank you, Suzuki, for that. Now you're up, Pinky, Kakashi said with little enthusiasm near the end of his sentence. Well, I am Sakura Haruno. My dream is to well. She looked suggestively at Naruto and continues, my hobbies include. Before she could finish, Naruto butted in saying, stalking me, which made her blush shamefully. My favorite place is. Wherever Naruto is, shouted Suzuki, making Sakura turn bright red with anger. I dislike. Competition, Kakashi mumbled, causing Naruto to laugh. Sakura just stopped herself and screamed as loud as she could. Once the laughing died down, Kakashi swiftly moved on to his next point. Well, now we know each other a little better. I have one last thing to tell you all. His team looked intrigued, so he continued, well, you may have passed the academy test, but you still have to complete the Genin test. 2/3 of each class often fail these exams, which will take place tomorrow. Meet me at training ground number 31 at 5 a.m. I picked it out specially because it's a landscape that I know one of us will enjoy. I will give you one hint of advice. Don't eat because you will throw it all back up. Now with that out of the way, I recommend you get some rest and I will see you tomorrow. With a flash of smoke, Kakashi was gone. What do you think, Naruto-kun? Asked both girls simultaneously. Well, I think we will pass this easily. We have me and Suzuki on the team, so we are guaranteed to succeed. He told the girls. What about me, Naruto-kun? Asked the pinkette. Well, Naruto said no more and disappeared. Suzuki just giggled and ran off, leaving a confused Sakura standing on the roof. Well? Naruto escaped to his favorite spot. He fell lazily on the tree, looking up at the academy, spotting his favorite teacher lecturing the class. They all looked bored except for one boy. Naruto had seen him before, and if he remembered correctly, his name was Konohamaru. Naruto smiled at the sight of the eager ninja to be, and remarked, he will be a good ninja one day, before closing his eyes, falling asleep on the tree. Students piled out of the academy doors. Naruto just slept through the sound. Though he became an attraction for the girls who were leaving, they all had to have a closer look. When he finally awakened, he was surrounded by girls. Naruto lightly waved to them and shunted away from them, resulting in a very disappointed mob. Naruto arrived home, rushing to the Namikaze mansion. Bursting through the doors, he announced that he was declared Rookie of the Year. His mother finally retracted her no ramen threat. Well done, sweetie, you always impress me, Kushina told her bouncing son. And guess what, our instructor is Kakashi-Nizan, and I also have Suzuki-chan on my team. Shame I was also paired with Sakura Haruno, but the world doesn't revolve around me, so I won't complain. Suzuki-chan. Has little Naru got himself a girlfriend? Kushina mocked, embarrassing the boy to no end. he did kind of have a crush on her, but he thought he'd be rejected, so he always stayed quiet. Ka-san, I have a question. Could we put a sakura tree in the family garden please? I found out I really relax around them, and also, she isn't my girlfriend, he shouted at his mother after asking for something, not the best way to convince someone to do something. I will see about your request, Naru, but it's obvious you like this Suzuki. You have gone bright red, you remind me so much of Minato. And once Naruto heard his mother mention his father, he ran for his life. He really didn't feel comfortable hearing about romance between his parents, it seemed so wrong. Naruto lay on his bed, reading a small jutsu scroll. It was about wind style, air cutter, and how to transmit it into weapons. Naruto always found weapons interesting, but due to him being adept in taijutsu there was no need for a weapon. Naruto ignored all parts about weapons and just concentrated on the jutsu. He memorized the hand signs and decided he would train in it when he had the chance. Meanwhile, Suzuki was at her estate. She was training intensely on her fire jutsu. She knew if there was one way to her father's heart, it was through mastery of fire. She had already performed the rite of passage, but she always strived for more. Suzuki finally did a fire style, Phoenix Flame, and ran up to her father to report her accomplishment. "Tusama, I did it, she told her father before being cut off. "I am with Itachi right now, come back later," Fugaku yelled before slamming the door. She caught an apologetic look from Itachi and cheered up a little, but she still felt deflated. Next day at Training Ground 31. Naruto arrived first with a nice full stomach. His mother cooked his some ramen and left it for him. Naruto couldn't leave perfectly good ramen, as his father always said, if it's not gone off never leave ramen, and it was a rule Naruto stuck to with all his heart. He examined the training ground. It had a free-flowing river, 3 logs, a memorial stone, and also sakura trees. This was like Naruto's dream relaxation spot. He looked around for his team, when he saw Suzuki scanning the area looking confused at what to do. "Suzuki-chan, over here," shouted Naruto enthusiastically, catching the young girl's attention. She was guided by his words right to the blonde boy who was once again lying on a tree. "Is there a thing about you and sakura trees?" asked Suzuki curiously. He always seemed to be lying on one. "Well, it soothes me, I don't know why. I feel at peace just sleeping or relaxing on one of these, so whenever I have a chance I do so. You probably noticed me at the academy doing it," Naruto told the girl, who nodded to his words. "Well, aren't you going to join me?" Naruto asked Suzuki, who just blushed and sat right next to the blonde boy. She ended up in these situations quite often, and she couldn't ever be sure about the blonde. He was too unpredictable for her to read. He pulled the young girl close to him. He felt her heat up a little, which he was pleased about. "I feel much more comfortable now," Naruto commented, making her blush redder and redder. She just thanked God that it was still dark out, hiding her blush. "Why do you always do this?" Suzuki asked, hoping for an answer such as, "Because I love you," or something down those lines, but she knew it was never going to happen. "Well, how can I say this?" Naruto started blushing. "Out of all the girls I know, you are the only one I am actually interested in." He didn't say what he really wanted to say, but he was too shy to do such a thing. He is interested in me. Does that mean he likes me? No, it can't mean that. Or does it?" Was rushing through Suzuki's head before she fainted, falling asleep on Naruto's shoulder. He stroked her hair gently and whispered, "Don't worry, Kakashi-Nizan won't be here for another 3 hours, so sleep whilst you can, Suzuki-heim." He followed in suit and drifted off to sleep as the sun slowly rose from the horizon. Sakura arrived at the training ground to see Naruto and Suzuki covered in pink petals. She walked closer to observe and saw Suzuki clinging to Naruto. She started to twitch but realized if she woke Naruto now she stood no chance. He looked so peaceful and hot. She just glared at the couple until Kakashi arrived, who just looked at the couple. "Hey lovebirds, get up now," Kakashi shouted whilst punching Naruto. He knew it took him longer to wake up, so he gave him a kickstart. Naruto saw Suzuki clinging to him and he turned bright red. When Suzuki realized what was happening, she jumped back. Sakura was about to punch the girl before Kakashi stopped her. "If you kill her, Naruto will hate you forever." These words instantly stopped her and she withdrew. "Naruto reminds me of myself in my youth. I had girls after me left, right and center. Naruto, cherish it whilst it lasts, because when you get older the stalkers become much, much worse." Okay, you three, now that we're all here I will discuss the test. Kakashi then pulled out 2 bells and dangled them in front of his students. You have to get these bells. If you fail to get one you will be sent back to the academy. You have 4 hours starting now, Kakashi declared. At the sound of this all 3 retreated into the bushes. Is he crazy? Is he really expecting us to get the bells from him? He's a jonin, for crying out loud. We stand no chance whatsoever, Sakura yelled at the top of her voice. You really think that? Well, looks like I am going to have to prove you wrong. Suzuki-chan, come with me, and with that the blonde followed by the female Uchiha confronted Kakashi. Suzuki-chan, fire as much jutsu as you can, trust me I will avoid every single shot, just aim it for my back so I conceal the attack, Naruto whispered in her ear. Are you sure, Naruto-kun? Suzuki asked with worry in her voice. Don't worry, it is guaranteed. If it works I will tell you my secret, okay? He told the raven-haired girl whilst smiling. She accepted with a nod, and at that moment Naruto started to charge at Kakashi. He activated his Sakugan and darted towards the Hatake, whilst Suzuki launched fire style, Phoenix flames directed for Naruto, and to her surprise he was dodging every single flame. What amazed her was his agility. Naruto was now face to face with Kakashi. With a cocky smile he flipped off Kakashi's head as the flames from Suzuki's attack finally reached its real target. Yes, shouted Naruto, thinking he finally got Kakashi, but at that moment it turned into a log. Damn him, Naruto growled inside his mind.
Those two are quite good, maybe I should test the pink-haired girl now, Kakashi thought as he closed in on the pinkette. Genjutsu, biggest nightmare technique, Kakashi whispered, and at that moment, Sakura heard muffled moans. She looked behind a tree to see Naruto and Suzuki making out. The information she was receiving was too much and she passed out. That was more fun than I thought it would be, Kakashi thought to himself upon returning to the blonde and the raven. Kakashi dropped down from the tree and smiled at the young couple, which charged at him. Try harder, Kakashi advised them before they got caught in the 2 traps Kakashi laid out. At that point the trapped teens disappeared into smoke, and a victorious laugh was heard. I can't believe you thought that was me, Naruto laughed. He then looked to Suzuki. Nice plan, Suzuki-chan. She just looked at the floor smiling. Kakashi decided to go on the offense, but Naruto was avoiding everything. His movements were too advanced for an ordinary new graduate. It was like Naruto was predicting Kakashi's movements, and then it clicked. Kushina's bloodline looked in Naruto's eyes to see the silver pupils. I knew it, but it can only sense chakra attacks and signals. Wait, that includes my Sharingan. He knows where I will attack from because of the Sharingan is using chakra, but he doesn't know how I will attack. That gives me an idea. Kakashi took on a Goken stance. He hated copying guy, but this was guaranteed to work, or so he thought. Kakashi attempted a leaf hurricane, but this was avoided by Naruto, who did a simple flip to avoid. Whilst all this was going on, Suzuki was sneaking up on her sensei. Kakashi got in close, and did exactly what Mizuki tried to do during the academy exams. It was unlucky for Kakashi that Naruto had an attack that was devastating in this situation. Dance of the Azalea, Naruto shouted, but Kakashi allowed Naruto to swipe his leg, thus Naruto couldn't continue with the dance. Kakashi then pushed himself with one arm to flip back into his stance. Suzuki then rushed past Kakashi, swiping the 2 bells from his waist. Suzuki threw a bell to Naruto, who smiled, but it was clear that he was exhausted. Kakashi was really dominating him, to be honest. Just because he got a hit in doesn't mean he was in control. Naruto knew that better than anyone. I guess you two understand the test, right? Kakashi asked the question, to which Naruto and Suzuki nodded. Well, I guess I have to pass you, and also Sakura. I will do you two a favor and wake her up. You two get out of here as fast as you can. Remember, missions start tomorrow, so be up nice and early. The 2 young geniuses left the training grounds with massive smiles on their faces. Naruto made Suzuki's day even better by asking her, "Hey Suzuki-chan, do you want to get some ramen?" Her face brightened and she nodded with a bright smile on her face. As the 2 newly declared genin walked through the town, they got stared at, but this wasn't through vicious intent. It was of admiration for the 2. They were the best ninja of their class and also main branch members of a respected family. Suzuki hated being stared at. It had something to do with her family, because whenever her father looked at her it was always a stare, which just drained all confidence from the girl. The blonde boy bravely slid his hand into hers, making her blush. She started intertwining their fingers together, which also caused Naruto to blush. Trying to strike up a conversation, Naruto asked, "So Suzuki-chan, what do you think of Team 7? Snapping out of her trance-like state, she quietly replied, "Well, Kakashi-sensei seems like a cool person, though he is constantly late. I don't mind that he is late by a few minutes, but being a whole 2 hours makes me get a little annoyed." Continuing about her squad, she said, "I really dislike Sakura for many reasons. Number 1, she always seems to be glaring at me for no reason. Number 2, she doesn't seem serious enough to be a ninja. And number 3, she is overly obsessed with you." "And why would being obsessed with me be a massive problem, Suzuki-chan? Don't tell me you're kind of jealous," Naruto asked her jokingly. He wasn't expecting her to look down at the floor as if she was ashamed. "I'm not jealous, it's just, I don't like seeing girls fawn over you," Suzuki said, trying to be as convincing as possible. "All Suzuki-heim is all jealous. Don't worry, you're the only one He cut himself off, being too embarrassed to continue with what he was saying. "I'm the only one you're what?" Suzuki asked, milking every moment of his suffering. It was rare to see a lost for words Naruto, and when there was one, you needed to make it count. Then it hit her, he just called her Heim. "You're the only one I like in that way," he answered very quickly, hoping she didn't hear him, but her red face was evident that she did. Everything went silent as they continued on to get their ramen. It was going to be a long dinner.
When they finally finished dinner, Naruto offered to take Suzuki home. She didn't answer him, so he classed it as a yes. And whilst approaching the estate, he realized she hadn't spoken since he said he kind of liked her. "I'm sorry for what I said, Suzuki-heim." He apologized half-heartedly. He wasn't sorry, but he thought an apology would solve things. She still didn't speak. They finally reached the Uchiha estate. He let go of her hand and was about to walk off when he felt a pair of lips on his cheek. He turned around to see Suzuki running through the gates. Naruto was blushing new shades of red whilst his object of affection was slowly getting further away. Itachi was giggling at what he just witnessed. He was going to tease Suzuki for this. He always found it fun to tease his little sister because she never got violent towards him. He just threw stuff at him. It was highly entertaining for him and most Uchihas. Team 7. Over the next few weeks, Team 7 did various of D-rank missions. Catching the daimyo's cat was the most fun because it involved Sakura getting her eyes nearly scratched out every time. Her reaction never got boring. Suzuki actually cried a bucket of tears seeing Sakura rolling on the floor detaching the cat from her face. Kakashi, upon seeing it, joined in the fun. But the missions were eventually causing Naruto to go slightly insane. He had to get a harder mission and he decided today he was going to try. Storming through the doors of the Hokage's office, Naruto was face to face with his father, who was just smiling at his son. "Good morning, Naruto," his father cheerily declared as his son stormed towards his desk. "Two-san, can we please have a harder mission? These D-ranks are getting on my nerves, and even though it is fun watching Sakura getting mauled by a cat, I still think they are unbelievably boring. Could you give us a higher-ranked mission, please?" "Well, I don't know, Naruto. D-rank missions are intended for Genin. It would be a little dangerous to give you a high-ranked mission, and quite frankly, if you got hurt on a mission, your mother would kill me." Kakashi started laughing at the comment. He knew it was true.
However, at the sound of this, Naruto's facial expression turned hopeful. "If Kakashi-san thinks you are ready, I don't see why I can't let you have a C-rank mission, but as I said, it's all Kakashi's decision." All three Genin turned to Kakashi. All three were pleading. "Wait, Sakura, why are you pleading?" Kakashi asked curiously. "No more CC cats," she trembled. She still had visible scratch marks on her face from the missions. Minato nodded to Kakashi, signifying to him that he must allow them to go on the mission. He knew if Naruto complained to Kushina, he would be in trouble, no matter what. He couldn't win. "Hokage-sama, I think they are ready to take a C-rank mission," Kakashi informed his leader and former sensei. "Very well, you are in luck, Naruto. There is a C-rank mission that needs completion urgently. You must protect a man called Tazuna, who is a bridge builder from the land of waves. You must escort and protect him until the bridge is completed." "Hi, Two-san," Naruto replied with a smile on his face, whilst the rest of Team 7 just thought about how lucky Naruto was. Because his father was the Hokage, he could get anything he wanted, or so they thought. A loud thumping noise came from the door. "Ah, that must be him. Enter please," Minato said with a smile on his face. A drunken old man carrying a bottle of sake stumbled through the doors of the Hokage's office. The jaws on all of Team 7's members dropped. They really didn't like the sound of protecting a drunk. It would be like trying to stop leaves blowing in the wind. That's right, pointless. But a C rank was a C rank, and Team 7 weren't going to let it leave their grasp. The drunk tumbled slightly, bumping into the wall. You got children to protect me. They look ready for school, not ready to guard someone. Is this really all that Konoha can offer? The drunk blurted out, slowly trying to make sure he made sense. Naruto tried his best to stay calm under the conditions. Quickly understanding his situation, he let out a short, unconvincing laugh and gave a look of fury to his father, who just smiled back sarcastically. Wow, they don't just look like children, they're spineless too. This really hit a nerve with Naruto, who darted across the room, slamming the old man into the wall. Picking him up by his collar, he grumbled, "If you go beaten by a child, how weak does that make you?" The old man trembled under Naruto's gaze, sobering up quickly. "Naruto-kun, please calm down," a small voice emanating from Suzuki requested. Naruto calmed down slightly, retreating back to his original position. His father was glaring at him, whilst Kakashi really didn't care. Sakura was just thinking about how good-looking Naruto and his father was. She smiled at her fantasies until a familiar voice told her never gonna happen. She looked up to Naruto and instantly felt deflated. "Can we just get this mission started?" whined Naruto. He was acting out of character. Naruto was usually a very patient individual, but I guess Naruto's excitement was too much for him. "I will take Tazuna-san to Konoha's main gates. You three get ready for the mission. We will be departing in 2 hours. Until then, please behave yourselves," meaning no weird activities such as stalking. All eyes fell on Sakura. Kakashi smiled that everyone instinctively knew who he was talking about, and with that he left the office with Tazuna trotting behind. Sakura and Suzuki left the Hokage's office, intending to get a head start on preparing for the mission. Meanwhile, Naruto stayed in the office with his father. "Tusan, sorry about my outburst. He was belittling me and Suzuki. I couldn't stand for that." "What about Sakura? He was insulting her as well," Minato told his son. "But what he said does relate to Sakura. That's the only reason I didn't snap his neck," Naruto told his father whilst smiling. It was kind of unnerving that a 12-year-old boy could speak of killing someone without caring. "Well, get home and prepare for the mission, Naruto. I expect to hear good things from Kakashi-san. If not, the training we do together will be extended and the training activities will be much harder," Minato said, threatening Naruto, whilst it was only for motivational purposes. "Hi, Tusan," Naruto said before using Shenshin to leave the office quickly. "I hope he understands that my words were to motivate him. Oh well, if he doesn't do so well, maybe the training can give me an excuse to teach him more of the Namikaze clan's techniques," Minato pondered before going back to his paperwork. Naruto arrived at home. His mother was just lying on the sofa doing nothing, waiting for something exciting to happen. She hadn't been a ninja in years due to problems with her pregnancy which never seemed to heal. She still helped Naruto with his training, but missions were out of the question. "Hey Ka-san, if you're wondering why I'm back so early, it's because I have a C-rank mission to prepare for. That means I won't be home for around a week," Naruto shouted to his mother, who was actually starting to panic. "A C-rank mission? Are you sure? Where is it?" his mother asked, sounding worried. She was very protective of Naruto and was genuinely scared for his safety. "Don't worry, Ka-san, I'll be fine. Kakashi Nizan is also coming, so my safety is nearly guaranteed. Oh, and about the mission, it's in the land of waves. Me and my team have to escort and protect a man called Tazuna until he finishes building a bridge which reaches inland," Naruto explained to his mother. But you're not ready. You just became a Genin." His mother still worried about the prospect of her son never coming home again. "Don't worry, Ka-san, I'll be fine. Stop worrying, and besides, you know how abnormally fast I heal," Naruto commented, but this sent a cold chill down his mother's spine. Even when mentioning the QB indirectly, it still had the same effect, as if he was telling her that it was inside him.
"Just be careful," she conceded. She knew he wouldn't change his mind, so she might as well encourage it. Besides, it was only a C rank, what could go wrong? Naruto, upon hearing this, quickly prepared his equipment and bid his mother farewell with a kiss on the cheek. "Don't worry, Ka-san, I'll come home safe and sound." With that said, he shunshined to Konoha's main gates. Naruto appeared out of nowhere, with Suzuki, Sakura, Kakashi and Tazuna present. They set off outside Konoha. For the Genin it was their first time experiencing the outside world and they took their time to savor it. Team 7 continued walking, until they crossed two puddles in the road. Kakashi looked at it suspiciously and upon seeing his reaction, Naruto got himself ready for a potential fight. As suspected, two ninja appeared from the puddles, instantly slaughtering Kakashi. Upon seeing Kakashi get hit by two chain-like weapons, Sakura screamed and fell to the floor shaking. One of the two charged at Suzuki, who flinched slightly, forcing Naruto into action. The young boy shunched next to Suzuki, scooping her up into his arms and darting out of harm's way. He placed her gently on the floor. She rose to her feet blushing, but her nerves had calmed and she was able to think clearly. Naruto disappeared from sight, appearing behind the ninja who attempted to assault Suzuki and impaled the man in the back of his skull with a kunai. Suzuki then used fire style, Great Fireball, to down the second ninja. Suzuki then looked over to Naruto, whose face was filled with remorse. "It's okay," she told him, but he had turned pale and was shaking violently. Kakashi looked down to the boy, feeling oddly saddened that Naruto killed at such a young age. Though Kakashi took a life much earlier than Naruto did, he still felt bad for the boy. "Naruto-kun, are you okay?" asked the female Uchiha. Naruto just nodded his head slowly. Suzuki instinctively pulled the teen into a comforting hug, which he reciprocated. "Thank you," he whispered in her ear, which just made her smile. The pink-haired girl literally growled at the scene, what she wouldn't do to be in his arms right now, but that Uchiha got in the way. Sakura wasn't going to let her get away with this. During this, Kakashi was with the other ninja, getting information on who sent them. Once he got the information he needed, a loud scream echoed through the forest. Kakashi then reappeared to the teens. Sakura screamed, "Why didn't you help us sooner? We could have been killed. It looked like you guys were doing fine, and besides it was for an important reason. I had to see who those guys were after, and as I suspected it was Tazuna, who I will have a word with soon. But I have one thing to tell you, Sakura, only you would have been killed, and that wouldn't have really mattered anyway," Kakashi told her, whilst whispering the part that it wouldn't have mattered. "Now while I speak with Tazuna, I want you three to be on guard, and Naruto, don't feel bad, you had no other choice than to kill them," Kakashi told the three whilst he and Tazuna spoke about the mission. The two teens stopped hugging, but Suzuki slid her hand into Naruto's, trying to calm him. Still, some color returned to the boy's face, but it was obviously still bothering him. "Uchiha, why do you always get to do things with Naruto?" the pink-haired girl screeched, and before Suzuki could answer, Naruto replied, "Because when it's Suzuki I feel much better, it's really soothing for me just to be around her." With those words Sakura went pale and fainted. Suzuki just blushed and looked at Naruto in disbelief, who smiled back at her. "It's true," he whispered. Kakashi returned, telling two of the three genin that it was now officially an A-rank mission. They decided not to tell the fainted Sakura just in case she spun on her heels and ran the opposite way. "So who's going to carry Sakura?" Naruto asked nervously. "No one, we will drag her," Kakashi replied. So they grabbed her shirt and pulled her along the floor until she finally awoke. "Where are we?" the girl mumbled, but no one answered her. Maybe if they just ignored her she would disappear. The four ninja and Tazuna continued forward, until a snow rabbit popped out of the bushes. Suzuki instantly claimed it as hers and grabbed it, running back to Naruto with a smile on her face. But her happiness was short-lived due to the fact a giant sword flew through the woods, embedding itself into a tree. Seconds later an intimidating-looking figure appeared on top of the sword. "I am Zabuza Momoichi, former ninja of the mist, and I have come for your head, Tazuna," the man declared with confidence in his voice. Upon the announcement of his name, Kakashi's eye widened. He ran forward and told his students, "Protect Tazuna, this man is extremely dangerous. He is the former demon of the mist, one of the mist's 7 swordsmen and a powerful ninja. I will deal with him, you three just protect Tazuna." Kakashi then removed his headband, revealing a Sharingan eye with a vicious-looking scar around it. "Kakashi-sensei has the Sharingan?" "How?" shouted Suzuki in disbelief before Naruto tapped her on the shoulder. "He will explain it when he is ready. He hasn't even told me, and so until then just accept the fact that someone outside the Uchiha clan has the Sharingan." She slowly nodded her head. She still wasn't very happy she hadn't even unlocked her Sharingan, and here a man who isn't even from her clan has it made her feel so inferior. "So you're Sharingan Kakashi, or the copy ninja? I remember your face from the bingo books. You are ranked as an S-class ninja who should always be avoided in combat. There is also a high price on your head which I would like to receive. For that reason only I will fight you." And without any delay the creepy-looking man activated a technique called Hidden Mist Technique, blanketing the area in a thick mist. The three genin took up a defensive stance around Tazuna, but the man appeared behind them bearing his sword, spinal cord, lungs, jugular vein. "These are some of the many spots where I can instantly kill you before you hit the ground." He then was stabbed by Kakashi, but he dissolved into water. Zabuza however had other ideas and slashed Kakashi in half, but that also dissolved into water. "Copied my technique how annoying," the man commented, whilst another water clone swung at Kakashi, but he dodged. Seizing his chance the Zabuza clone kicked Kakashi into the nearby lake where he was trapped in a prison of water. "Naruto, Suzuki, Tazuna run!" Kakashi shouted, but this wasn't met with the response he wanted. "I am not running, that man will just catch us if we run, so we might as well fight, we have nothing else to lose." Naruto spoke with confidence, inspiring the others to adopt his ideals.
"Sakura, stand still, I think you can just about manage that. Suzuki, come with me to destroy that clone, we can do that, it will be easy to release Kakashi," Naruto ordered, with them all obeying his command. Suzuki charged at the clone, jumping into the air, unleashing 3 kunai at the ninja, but his giant sword blocked each one. "That I'll dash," he mocked just as Naruto's foot impacted with his face, dissolving it to water. "Now Suzuki, release that jutsu," shouted Naruto. Suzuki charged at the former mist ninja, a kunai in each hand at the ready. Zabuza couldn't block or he would release Kakashi, and he couldn't just let the kunai hit him, so instead Zabuza released the jutsu, then punched Suzuki in the face as she got close, sending her flying backwards, but the safe arms of Naruto cushioned the blow and she drifted into them. Zabuza then turned to Kakashi. "You're next," he said as he started a massive seal sequence. What he didn't expect was Kakashi to be matching his seals perfectly in time. When Zabuza lost concentration for just a second, Kakashi finished the rest of the seals at lightning speed, declaring, "Water style, grand waterfall technique," which summoned a massive force of water which sent Zabuza downstream. Unable to take control of his body, Kakashi then threw a kunai at him, attaching him to a tree. "Do you know the future?" Zabuza asked mockingly. "Yes, and it's your death," Kakashi replied. Seconds later 2 senbon needles impaled into the neck of Zabuza, killing him instantly. The people present all looked for the perpetrator, and once seeing them realized that they were a hunter ninja designed to kill missing ninja. "I will be disposing this body now," the hunter nin told those present, then disappeared into a cold wind. Seconds later Kakashi collapsed as all 3 Team 7 members rushed over to the man. "Naruto-kun, what happened?" Suzuki asked, sounding worried. Sakura asked the exact same thing. Naruto sighed and replied, "Just chakra exhaustion." "And Suzuki, what you going to name that rabbit you're holding?" She was grasping the white rabbit from earlier, blushing shortly. "I don't know." Tazuna's home. The unconscious Kakashi lay on a bed whilst Naruto was at his bedside, awaiting his awakening. Suzuki was downstairs talking with Tazuna's family. She heard of his grandson, that a man called Gadu had been terrorizing the town and that they stood no chance at defeating him. She just spoke softly with him, and he came around to her way of thinking. He then asked her the question, "Then what should I do?" obviously referring to how he can help stop Gadu. Suzuki looked to the stairs, and turned back to Inari. "You protect those closest to you like your grandfather and your mother. Don't worry, we will sort Gadu out. With those 2 upstairs on our team we are unbeatable." "You really like that blonde one, doesn't you?" Inari injected his opinion, causing Suzuki to blush intensely. "Yes, I do, but please don't tell him," she told the young boy, who smiled back at her. "Hey everyone, Kakashi Nizen has awoke," Naruto shouted from Kakashi's room, causing all in the house to rush upstairs to see the man. "Kakashi-sensei, are you all right?" asked Suzuki, worried for his health. She heard it was chakra exhaustion that knocked him out. She suspected it had something to do with the Sharingan but kept her mouth sealed. "Yes, Suzuki-chan, I am fine. I was more worried about all of you. How are you all doing?" "I am fine, sensei," Sakura replied to the man. "Shame," commented Kakashi, then he continued, "I was thinking it over just before I passed out. That hunter ninja should have decapitated Zabuza at the scene, so there is a high chance of him being alive, but incapacitated for quite a while. Because of this I have decided that we are going to train until his arrival, Kakashi told the people present. Kakashi-Nizen, are you sure? I swore that man was dead, he wasn't moving or breathing. Naruto claimed, but his words were met with a nod from Kakashi. He was sure that Zabuza was alive, and that was something to worry about. Naruto, Suzuki, Sakura, please get yourselves ready as we will be training in 20 minutes, just let me take a shower as I have been unconscious for days I suspect. The three nodded and left the room. Training, why should we? It's just a waste of time and it is too tiring as well, Sakura commented on Kakashi's proposal. That's why no one likes you, Sakura, you complain too much, Suzuki commented. As Sakura was about to retaliate, a loud roar was heard from Naruto, which shut the two teens up. Please be quiet, I think training will be beneficial to all of us, so if we could just stop arguing for 10 minutes maybe we can get somewhere, shouted Naruto. Both girls nodded in shame. Don't worry, Suzuki, I wasn't talking about you, I just wanted her to be quiet, that's all. Suzuki giggled at this and went to the kitchen of the house to help Tazuna's daughter Tsunami with the cooking whilst they waited for Kakashi. So Naruto-kun, now that we're all alone let's have some fun, Sakura whispered to Naruto suggestively. Hey Suzuki, want to go somewhere alone? Shouted Naruto to stop Sakura's advances. Really, Naruto-kun? Suzuki asked with hope in her eyes. Sure, why not, let's go to the forest area, he replied to a now buzzing Suzuki. Tsunami-chan, could you tell Kakashi-Nizen that we are in the forest? The older woman nodded, and with that Naruto grabbed the girl and shunshined away. Naruto and Suzuki arrived in a dimly lit forest. Few beams of light passed through the tall trees. Naruto then tested how high he could get up the tallest tree. Shockingly enough, he got to the top on his first go, not allowing herself to be outdone. Suzuki also attempted it, succeeding as well. Well, now that we have finished Kakashi's training exercise he will have to teach us something, Naruto commented whilst Suzuki looked at him with confusion. Didn't you know that this was going to be his training? Well, I can understand that, you haven't known Kakashi-Nizen all your life, Naruto chuckled. By teach us something, what do you mean, Naruto-kun? Suzuki queried, wouldn't tree climbing be teaching us? Well, Kakashi-Nizen is one of the best ninjas in the whole of Konoha. I am sure he knows a move that will make us stronger. Nodding to his own words, he relaxed against a tree. Naruto-kun. Suzuki softly spoke, causing Naruto to open his eyes. Suzuki-chan, I have a question for you. Naruto spoke with a gentle humming. Suzuki however just looked at the boy. Her body language asked him to continue. Why did you kiss me outside your estate? Panic-stricken, Suzuki looked around, trying to find anything to obscure her view so she didn't have to look the young man in the eyes. So shameful, she thought to herself. Uchiha is always supposed to be confident, not a wimp. I am a disappointment. No wonder why father never looks at me. Tears ran down her face. She was genuinely scared to tell Naruto her feelings. Only Itachi and her mother were ever nice to her in the Uchiha clan. She couldn't lose another person close to her.
Suzuki-chan, don't cry, I didn't mean to upset you, just forget about. A firm hand went over Naruto's mouth. He was now gazing into Suzuki's eyes, sympathy being shot at Suzuki from his blue orbs. She gave a smile, the tears still flowing. Maybe if I just detach myself from people, my heart will be spared. Suzuki questioned, knowing her answer already. Closing her eyes, she spun on her heels, running from the scene. Naruto shunshined in front of her, looking at her with affection. She couldn't meet his gaze though, staring at her feet whilst his firm hands gripped her shoulders. You can't just detach yourself from people, it would just cause great heartache, for you, and me. Why would he suffer heartache? Before she could finish her thoughts, strong arms wrapped around her body, pulling her close. Suzuki-chan, it's your decision, I can leave right now, or we will stay like this for as long as you wish. Silence was Suzuki's answer. Naruto smiled slightly, kissing the top of her head. Don't worry, Suzuki-chan, I won't leave you. Those words struck a chord for Suzuki. Burying her head in his chest, she wailed. Did someone out her family finally accept her? She thought as she cried. Naruto and Suzuki stayed, motionlessly, for what seemed like hours. The crying subsided, replaced by light breathing. The poor girl had cried herself to sleep in his arms. He carried her to a tree, and then led down first. Once he knew he would be comfortable, he pulled the sleeping girl towards him, wrapping his arms around her waist. She'll be much more comfortable now, Naruto thought to himself, waiting for Kakashi to arrive. Rustling noises were heard in the bushes. 2 figures appeared from them, a white-haired man followed by a pink-haired girl. They approached the couple, Suzuki still sleeping on her Naruto pillow. "What happened here? Why does it look like she's been crying? Why is she on top of you?" asked Kakashi, dying for news on the subject. "Could you keep it down, please?" Naruto whispered. Both ninja nodded, allowing Naruto to continue. "I was speaking with Suzuki when she just broke down crying. Before long she was sleeping and I couldn't wake her." Sakura smiled to herself, thinking Naruto must have been cold-hearted to the girl, but why would she be on top of him, she thought. "Oh well, he is as good as mine now," Sakura thought to herself, a lecherous grin appearing on her once innocent face. Moans emanating from the female Uchiha were heard. She rustled around a bit, finally opening her eyes. To see blue eyes staring at her, a blush appeared on her face, hiding the tear stains. However, the girl didn't retreat. She remained in his embrace, savoring it. "Get off him, bitch!" shouted a furious Sakura, red in the face. "He doesn't want to be around you, it's obvious." "Silence!" roared Naruto. His voice was intimidating, sounding more like a wild beast. It sent a chill down Sakura's spine. She retreated. The noise broke all resolve she had. "If I didn't want to be around her, why would I be holding her?" asked Naruto, was a very stunned and wordless Sakura. Kakashi broke up the situation. He couldn't have a broken Sakura around. That would make him miss out on all the fun he had planned. "Everyone, I expect all of you to be ready to train in 5 minutes, understood?" The 3 nodded, doing some warm-up exercises. "Maybe we should show him our tree-climbing expertise, Suzuki-chan," Naruto advised the Uchiha, who replied with a nod. Instantly the 2 genin ran up their trees, reaching the summit easily. Kakashi looked at them with a smile on his face. "Maybe I should teach them something whilst I deal with Sakura." "Suzuki-chan, Naruto, you have both completed what I had planned. Because of this I will teach you something that will help with your corresponding specialties. Naruto, I will teach you a technique which will increase your taijutsu tenfold. And Suzuki, well, I will try and teach you my signature move, but I am not promising success." The 2 nodded with smiles on their faces. "Now let's see what you've got, Sakura," shouted Kakashi, with 20 kunai in his pocket. As suspected, Sakura got all the way up her tree easily. "Well, now that you can climb trees, we can try and increase your chakra pool." "Wow, how are we going to do that, Kakashi-sensei?" the pink-haired girl asked, thinking it was a good idea. "Well, it's a specialty training that I created. It's called dodge kunai. What you do is run up and down trees as I throw kunai at you. You have to avoid them. This will span the entire tree. If you can make it through the day, your chakra pool will undoubtedly be higher." Kakashi smiled at his plan. "Are you sure? It seems kind of dangerous," Sakura asked stupidly. The correct reply would be, "That's suicidal," but she just had to ask. "Yes, it'll be foo." "Fine, now let me go and tell Naruto and Suzuki something, then I will be back to help you," Kakashi said to Sakura as convincingly as possible. Kakashi pulled Suzuki and Naruto into another part of the woods. "Okay, Naruto, I will teach you a move that I learned from a man called Hokage. It's called the 8 chakra gates. You need to learn to unlock them. Never go past 4 for your own safety. Opening all 8 will kill you. Suzuki, I will show you my Chidori and you try and imitate it." The 2 genin nodded as Kakashi showed Naruto the gates and Suzuki Chidori. Once it was done, Kakashi returned to Sakura. Suzuki and Naruto practiced their own moves. Suzuki managed to set her arm on fire instead of into lightning. It seemed powerful, so she decided to test it out later on when she had more time. Naruto was struggling in opening the gates. He had to concentrate all his chakra to his head to open the gate there. After constant attempts, it finally worked. Chakra leaked from his body. It was so powerful, he felt as if he could move 20 times faster. He would need to incorporate this into his Mayabita Handu style, but over all this was a massive advantage. Meanwhile, Kakashi was having the time of his life. Throwing kunai constantly at Sakura really relieved the stress that had been building up. Suzuki and Naruto reappeared asking to join in. Now all three of them were throwing kunai, laughing and joking whilst the terrified girl evaded the kunai until she passed out. They waited until she woke up and took her back to Tazuna's house. Team 7 had dinner together. Speaking of the mission, they needed to be on alert. Zabuza would be healed soon and they couldn't let their guard down for a second. They decided to guard the house one at a time, Naruto volunteering first. He left the house in a flash and led on the house's roof under the moonlit sky. It was a beautiful night, the fresh sea breeze still flowing. As Naruto watched the stars, he instinctively knew that no one would come. The days passed quickly. The same old routine was followed. Suzuki and Naruto would have some awkward situations whilst training, then let off steam throwing kunai at Sakura. Heck, Kakashi wasn't wrong though. Sakura's chakra supply had increased massively. She would now be able to call herself a ninja without people laughing at her thoughts.
The 5th day passed and Kakashi wasn't taking any chances. He, including Suzuki and Sakura, left for the bridge with Tazuna, whilst Naruto stayed behind with Tsunami and Inari. Gata, the man orchestrating the entire assassination of Tazuna, told his men that morning to set out to destroy anything related to the old man, to crush his spirit and thus crush the last glimmer of light the wave that was trapped at sea had. He commanded Haku and Zabuza to kill Tazuna at the bridge. The bomb about to hit wave was set, all Gata had to do was light it. Naruto was in the house talking casually with Inari and his mother Tsunami when screams were heard outside the house. Gata's men was chorused from terrified villagers. The door was smashed of its hinges. The sun blocked all vision of the perpetrators. They stepped through the now open wall. They were both males wielding katanas. Naruto just laughed to himself. "What's so funny, brat?" shouted one of the men angrily at being belittled by a youth. "Nothing, it's just, you think because you have a sword you're instantly strong. I will defeat you in 2 seconds, just you wait," Naruto mocked. They both got furious and charged. It was what Naruto was hoping for. With quick reactions, Naruto managed to Azalea dance the first man, sending him flying into the air, eventually crashing into the ceiling. Naruto's other movement was a kick to the other man's temple. Naruto dragged the 2 men out of the house and threw them in the river. It was a symbol of hope to the villagers. He then ran to Inari, whispering to the boy, "I predict a storm coming, gather villagers and come to the bridge." He then shunshined away, trying to reach the bridge as fast as he could. He just hoped nothing had happened. Zabuza had confronted Kakashi on the bridge. They were about to duke it out when Haku appeared begging for them to stop. Zabuza silenced him and told him to attack that Suzuki girl. Haku never disobeyed Zabuza in the past and wasn't going to start here. Haku stormed at Suzuki. Suzuki saw the boy coming at full speed. She delivered a cool and clean kick to the face, sending Haku flying backwards. She then charged straight at Haku. Unfortunately, this person knew some weird techniques, and before Suzuki knew it, she was imprisoned in a jutsu called demonic ice mirrors. Haku entered one of these mirrors and sent thousands of senbon a second at the young Uchiha, who was desperately trying to dodge. The Uchiha managed to grab a senbon, using it as a kind of shield. It wasn't going well at all. Suzuki tried various fire jutsu, but her ice was too cold. Her fire wasn't hot enough to burn away the ice. Suzuki's main problem was the fact that Haku was so fast, she couldn't even track the man. Though she was finally seeing his movements, she couldn't hit the man. Wait, his movements? What's this chakra? Wait, this is the Sharingan? Suzuki unlocked her Sharingan, which contained 2 tomo. She smiled with confidence. The Sharingan was going to win her this fight. Suzuki tunneled forward with a blazing arm of chakra. It ripped through one ice mirror, but the attack left Suzuki exhausted. Millions of senbon flew at Suzuki. When "Get away from her" was Suzuki's voice of salvation. A foot hit Haku, who retreated back into the mirror. The blonde object of her affection was covered in senbon. He had taken the blow and delivered a kick on Haku. Naruto was fast. "Suzuki, how strong is this guy?" Naruto asked. He needed to know. "He is the fastest person I have seen," was Suzuki's reply. Naruto bit his lip. He was pumped up. The adrenaline rushed through his body as he sprung into action. Even with his nimble movements, senbon still hit Naruto. Millions kept piling at them. One hit Naruto's pressure point, temporarily knocking the boy unconscious. "Time to finish that brat," Haku growled as he threw his senbon. No, don't you dare, screamed Suzuki. A dark aura surrounded the girl. Naruto slowly opened his eyes to see Suzuki glowing with a black aura around her. When something in him snapped, he began to growl. The beast inside him was reacting to this aura of Suzuki's as red chakra seeped out of Naruto. Haku was hidden behind his mask but was terrified beyond belief. These two were monsters. Kill the man, kill it, do it now, Suzuki, a voice from within told Suzuki, who was already pissed off severely. You don't want your precious Naruto-kun being hurt, do you? The voice asked her, tricking her into charging. Kill, do it now, kid, shouted a voice within Naruto, who was enveloped in red chakra. The two Team 7 members sped towards the terrified Haku, who attempted an escape, but it was futile. Suzuki darted straight at him, and literally slashed the boy with black chakra shaped like a bird's claw. Haku was cut straight up his body. Screams erupted from the boy as the two experienced ninja felt the monstrous presence. They had no idea what they felt, but whatever it was bad. The boy was sent spiraling into the air from Suzuki's slash. Naruto appeared above the boy. The air distorted around Naruto. He had moved so fast that the air split. Then with a thunderous kick, Haku was sent back to earth, where Suzuki once again connected viscously with the boy before he even hit the ground. Haku wasn't moving at all. The two teens had slaughtered him. The two teens were standing between the still present ice mirrors, visions of themselves reflected upon each. Suzuki saw this weird dark chakra around her body. It kind of looked like she had wings. Naruto saw himself and tilted his head in confusion. He had claws, his canines were bigger, the whisker marks on his cheeks deepened. Their eyes finally met each other. Naruto-kun. Sasuke-chan. They both continued to look at each other. The beasts inside them urged them to fight, but their hearts denied it. Images of the monstrous chakra receding was reflected amongst the mirrors. After every last drop of chakra receded, the two teens fell to the floor. When they collided with the floor, the mirrors smashed as little speckles of light glistened on the mist-filled bridge. It's finally stopped, commented a frightened Kakashi. So it has, but Kakashi, you're dead, Zabuza commented as he sprung towards Kakashi. I'm sorry, Zabuza-san, you fought well, but it's over. Kakashi charged at the same time as Zabuza. However, he had a condensed lightning chakra blade on his arm, known as Chidori. It pierced Zabuza's chest, ripping through his heart as blood splattered everywhere. Momoichi Zabuza was dead. Sakura and Tazuna were shaking like mad. Two powerful presences were felt and they witnessed a man die brutally in front of them. Sakura even screamed at the sight. Kakashi ordered the two to check on Naruto and Suzuki. They complied, running as fast as they could. They saw two bodies lying face down on the floor. They were exactly in front of each other with one arm outstretched. Naruto-kun, are you okay? What's the matter? Wake up, screamed Sakura, begging for him to open his eyes, but he was quiet. His heart was beating, but it was faint. It brought a sigh of relief to Sakura. How's Suzuki? Sakura asked. She didn't like the girl, but she didn't want to see her die.
She is fine, but exhausted, probably like Naruto-kun over there. Hey girl, did you feel two monstrous presences like I did? Tazuna asked. Sakura and nodded to this. Well, I don't think it's completely out of the question that these two are the source. I know they aren't monsters, but that aura I felt, it was that of a monster. Please don't think any different of them even after hearing my words. Sakura shouted at the man. They are not monsters, they are just regular people. I know that we felt two auras, but it means nothing to me now. Let's get these two to a safe place. The man looked at Sakura with newfound respect and helped shuffle the two unconscious teens out of the way. However, things weren't good for Kakashi either. Though he just took the head of Zabuza and was guaranteed to get a good reward for it, he was exhausted. Just then thousands of voices were heard, one in particular. See, I knew those ninjas would die, that's why I brought back up, a mysterious masculine voice said as the mist cleared slightly. The mysterious person was none other than Gato, and right behind the man was thousands of bandits. Come on men, let's destroy everything, keep piling forward, charge. Right at that moment the mob charged forward until an arrow appeared in front of one of the men. They looked up to see thousands of wave civilians, all ready to protect the village they loved. The bandits pushed Gato out of the way and jumped onto the boat they used to get onto the bridge. They then set sail, leaving Gato stranded at the end of the bridge. Tazuna looked up and saw a cornered Gato right at the far end of the bridge. His blood boiled. From what he did to his family, it was unforgivable. He somehow managed to pick up Zabuza's gigantic sword and walk over to Gato. What do you think you're doing? what you're not going to. No, please don't, I'll pay you anything, please don't kill me, the chubby man Asgata begged. What you have done to the wave is unforgivable. You stole our money, our hope, our lives. What you did to my family is also unforgivable. Tazuna clenched the sword hard. You broke the hearts of my daughter and grandson, you destroyed someone we all loved, and when you hurt someone important to me, Tazuna slashed the man's head. I show no forgiveness, he spat, as Zabuza's mighty sword fell from his arms and hit the bridge. How he managed to lift the sword in the first place was a miracle. All the wave citizens cheered. Tazuna, the man trying to rebuild their lives, finally got rid of the main obstacle. Kakashi walked over to Tazuna and placed his hand on his shoulder. Nice work, Tazuna smiled at him. Kakashi picked up Zabuza's sword and placed it on his back. This was going to be hung on his wall when he got home. Kakashi and Tazuna walked over to where Naruto and Suzuki were. He stared at the young couple. Why didn't you tell me sooner, Minato-sensei, Fugaku-san, he thought, looking at the two. Let's take them to Tazuna-san's to recover. I am sure you don't mind, do you? The old man nodded as they carried the two towards Tazuna's home. Naruto and Suzuki slept for 2 whole days. When they awoke, they instantly felt shamed. They looked like monsters back there, they admitted to themselves. Hey Suzuki-chan, what was that back on the bridge? Naruto asked quietly, trying to comprehend the images flashing through his head. Suzuki looked like a black bird sort of creature, whilst he looked like a savage beast. Naruto-kun, I really don't know, all I can say is, it still has me scared now. I'll tell you something, Naruto, before I went insane a voice told me to kill. Suzuki lowered her head in shame. Naruto's eyes widened. Same with me, Suzuki-chan, I guess I have to tell you a secret now. I know it isn't very brilliant, but Naruto then unveiled his Sharingan to Suzuki for the first time. I have a dojutsu just like you, it's called the Sharingan. It allows me to sense all chakra, and chakra-based attacks to a point where I can avoid them without seeing it. It also protects my jutsu from the Sharingan's copying method. Suzuki smiled and looked downwards. I pretty much suspected something was weird when you avoided all my phoenix fires in the bell test. I guess we're the same then. What do you mean by the same, Suzuki-chan? Well, we both had a weird chakra aura, and we possess a dojutsu. I guess we are very much alike. She smiled at her own comment, looking down at the floor. Naruto walked over to her, whispering to her, even if you were completely different to me, I'd still low like you. He then kissed her forehead and got ready to depart. They were leaving the wave today and needed to get ready. He kissed me, again, thought Suzuki whilst blushing. Team 7 arrived at the newly built bridge. The name of said bridge was on an arch just above the entrance, the Great Seven. It was called, making all of the Konoha ninjas smile. Thank you for having us for so long, Tazuna-san. I will come and see you again sometime. Kakashi spoke with the old man, whilst carrying Zabuza's large sword on his back. The old man nodded to this whilst smiling. Inari was with Suzuki, Naruto, and Sakura. He was crying about them leaving. Naruto and Suzuki made out that they weren't upset, whilst Sakura shed a few tears. When it was time to leave, the ninjas turned their backs, and stepped out onto the newly built bridge.
Team 7 had just arrived in Konoha. The long mission to the wave was over. The wave mission was such a big experience for the 3 Genin of Team 7, especially for the stars Naruto and Suzuki. They had both realized there was something not right about them. Ever since the event on the Great Seven Bridge, Naruto and Suzuki had been thinking deep thoughts. They didn't know what they were anymore. All they remembered were monstrous images of themselves. Team 7 decided that the first stop would be the Hokage's office. First, they needed to report in, and secondly, Kakashi was sure that Minato was worrying for Naruto, and the third reason was that Kakashi needed to speak with Minato urgently. He needed to know about Naruto more. After a frustrating walk through town, the team finally reached the giant red building known as the Hokage Tower. They entered the giant structure and began to slowly walk to Minato's office. Minato heard a faint knocking sound at the door. Come and, ordered the Hokage. As the door swung open, Minato's eyes brightened instantly. Minato looked at Kakashi, asking him without speaking about the mission's success. A simple nod confirmed that they were successful. So how did you find your first C-rank mission? Minato asked Team 7 curiously. He then observed the young Genin's reactions. Suzuki and Naruto looked at the floor, trying to hide the fact that something was bothering the duo, and Sakura looked emotionless. It wasn't a C-rank mission, Hokage-sama, Kakashi informed Minato, whose eyes just widened with shock. What rank mission was it, Kakashi-san? He asked curiously. He didn't send them on a D-rank mission which made them annoyed or something, did he? It was equivalent to an A-rank mission. Don't worry, they said they would pay when they could, and I can speak for the whole team and say that the mission went perfect. Kakashi then gave a glancing look at Minato. That basically meant, I need to speak with you in private. Minato nodded to this and ordered the Genin. Team 7, you are dismissed, and also Naruto, get home fast, your mother was been worried sick about you all this time. He laughed slightly, causing Naruto to go red. He knew he was going to be teased for this from Suzuki later. When all three Genin left the room, Kakashi and Minato were able to talk about the serious issue about the mission. What is it, Kakashi-san? Minato asked with a worried expression. He knew it had to be serious if Kakashi would stay in his office longer than needed be. Minato-sensei, this may be a weird question, but is there something unique about your son Naruto? Kakashi told Minato, trying to not insult his former teacher and present leader. Minato looked shocked for a few seconds. Did something concerning the fox happen on their mission? Minato was starting to panic. Through this one sign, Kakashi knew his suspicions were correct. There was something really wrong with Naruto. Kakashi-san, I have known you for a long time. Because of this, I will tell you a secret that only few in this entire world know, but if I tell you, you must ensure this is kept secret. Kakashi perked up, now very curious. He nodded his head as he couldn't find the words to agree. Him knowing something that hardly anyone else knows sounded interesting to the copy ninja. Kakashi-san, 12 years ago Sarutobi-sama died fighting the Kyuubi. Everyone knows of his heroic sacrifice in slaying the darned beast, but... Kakashi leaned forward in anticipation. Sarutobi-sama never killed the Kyuubi. It was too powerful even for the Great One, so instead he sealed it into a young boy. I was intending to be the one who sacrificed their life to seal the beast, but Sarutobi-sama insisted that I needed to live for Naruto. As there was no one else to seal the Kyuubi into, we chose my son Naruto. So you are correct, there is something unique about Naruto. He is the first ever Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Kakashi's mouth dropped, his mask fell off and his hunky face was shown to the world for a brief moment. He scrambled around trying to attach his mask, shamed that a purple-haired woman saw his face from the other side of Konoha using her binoculars. Seriously, the stalkers are everywhere for the poor man. Why, you mean, the boy that I have regarded as a little brother is the holder of the Kyuubi? Kakashi said uncharacteristically. It was unlike the white-haired man to stutter. I hope you don't think any differently of Naruto because of the news. You more than most should know there is nothing wrong with the boy. He is a separate entity to the Kyuubi. Remember that, Kakashi-san. Kakashi was lost for words. He knew he wasn't going to judge Naruto any differently, but how would he act around the boy? Did he even know about the Kyuubi inhabiting him? Minato-sensei, there is no need for worry. However, does Naruto know of the Kyuubi? I can tell you that he has been quieter than usual. Minato shook his head, signaling that Naruto had no knowledge of the beast's identity, but the look in Minato's eyes signaled that Naruto may know that something is inhabiting him. Maybe that's why he looked at the floor, but why would Suzuki wait, could it? Kakashi-san, is there anything about Suzuki? Minato asked worriedly. If his suspicions were correct, Fugaku had done it. Kakashi winced. I am not too sure about that, Minato-sensei. However, I felt two chakra auras that were monstrous, and the only two people around were Naruto and Suzuki. How come? What is it that you know? Kakashi-san, Suzuki may be inhabited by... He paused for a second. Did Fugaku really do such a thing to his own daughter? What they did to Naruto was different. Naruto was the only choice they had. However, I think Fugaku-san. Never mind, Kakashi-san, if you wish to find out you must speak with Fugaku-san yourself. Yes, Minato-sensei, thank you for trusting me with such information. The new information that I have gained will not affect my relationship with your son, I can assure you. Minato smiled at his former student. I will ask Naruto if something happened myself. If he tells me, I will reveal this to him. Kakashi looked shocked, then realized the logic Minato spoke. Naruto wouldn't work as efficiently if he was thinking about it. Kakashi exited the office, heading towards the Uchiha estate. He needed to know about his favorite female student. Naruto arrived at home, instantly being smothered by his mother. Her overprotectiveness was too much for the boy sometimes, but he just coped with it this time. She hadn't seen him in weeks, so it was understandable.
Kazan, don't you think this is a little much?
Naruto asked awkwardly whilst his mother was hugging him tightly. Well, I haven't seen my son in over 2 weeks. You said you would only be gone for one, so it's obvious I'd be worried about my little Naruto, wouldn't it?
Kushina said with a joyous tone.
Naruto just sighed. He had a lot to think about. He was still banging his head over the whole wave incident. What was that red chakra? How come Suzuki had wings? Why did he look like a wild beast? The questions just kept rushing through his head. He couldn't answer them, and it was really getting to him. Kushina could sense the discomfort in her son, but was too scared to ask him. He didn't look like his usual self.
Sweetie, is something wrong? Kushina finally asked. Naruto, however, went completely silent. Did something happen? Naruto nodded his head to her question. Looking worried, she asked, what was it? Naruto knew he could trust his mother, but it was too hard to tell her that there might be something really wrong about him. Finally, building up the courage, he said, I think I'm not just Naruto. After he said his comment, he ran to his room, slamming the door. He couldn't talk about it right now. Not just Naruto, he doesn't mean. Minato will have to speak with him later. She looked blankly at the stairs, diverting her gaze to Naruto's door. It'll be all right, Naruto, she thought as she went back to the living room awaiting Minato's arrival. She knew that if anyone other than Naruto knew about his problem, it would be Minato, or so she hoped. Kakashi arrived at the Uchiha estate. He wasn't the most popular of people around the Uchiha residence, but he had to talk to Fugaku. The white-haired Jonin walked awkwardly through the estate. All who noticed his presence stared at him, and he was detested by the Uchiha, all due to his Sharingan, and they all hated an outsider possessing something only an Uchiha can have. Kakashi felt oddly guilty walking around here. Since Obito's death, he has never came within 10 foot of this place, but he knew talking with Fugaku required actually entering the estate, which was extremely awkward for the Jonin. He finally reached the main house, slowly knocking on the door. Clear signs of relief were shown on his face when Suzuki answered. Ah, Suzuki-chan, can I possibly talk with your father, please? Kakashi asked his young female student, who looked visibly depressed. I'll see what I can do, Kakashi-sensei, she mumbled, returning to the house. As Kakashi stood at the door awkwardly, he tried to divert his attention from random Uchihas. As he stood at the door, he glimpsed a memorial stone of Honorable Uchiha that died for Konoha. Scrolling through the names, he eagerly awaited his deceased friends. After minutes of looking, he realized that Obito's name wasn't on the list. A newfound anger boiled inside the man. How couldn't his brave friend be on it? He made a valiant sacrifice for Konoha. A tear emanated from his Sharingan eye. Is Obito crying? He thought as Fugaku arrived at the door. Kakashi-san, what brings you to my residence? Asked Fugaku, hiding his hatred for the man behind a friendly mask. I need to speak to you about something about Suzuki actually. Will you please answer my questions? Suzuki's head bobbed up. She heard her name and she was now curious. Could this be about the wave incident? She thought to herself, praying that her father would accept her sensei's request. Fugaku nodded. You could almost feel the happiness being put of by Suzuki. She just needed to follow them to the conference hall. As her father and sensei walked quietly through the house, she grew impatient, watching them take as much time as they wanted. Suzuki needed answers now. It was driving her insane. The conference room's door slammed shut, signaling that a meeting was going on. Suzuki snuck up to the door and pressed her ear against it. What are you doing here, Muto? A familiar voice asked the now startled Suzuki. Itachi-sama, please be quieter when you speak. They are speaking about me. Please understand, she begged whilst whispering. Itachi smiled and walked up to the girl. She was now getting worried Itachi was going to tell on her. Then something out of the ordinary happened. He leaned down and pressed his ear against the door as well. I'm curious, he remarked, making the girl smile. That was basically his way of saying, don't worry, I won't tell. So Kakashi-san, what was so important that you had to disturb me during work? Fugaku asked with an irritated tone. Well, come on, I don't have all day to just look at you, do I? the man shouted. Fugaku-sama, when your daughter was having a mission in Wave Country, I felt two disturbing presences, and Naruto and Suzuki were the only people who were at the source of the incident. I am not sure how it is connected, but could you tell me if there is something I should know about your daughter? Maybe I can help her with it. She did it? No, she couldn't have. Suzuki is just a failure to the family. I know she has unlocked the Sharingan now, but still, how can she be alive if what Kakashi is saying is indeed the truth? No Uchiha container has ever survived after unlocking it. Kakashi-san, are you 100% sure about my daughter? Can you tell me anything else about the incident? I can't tell you anything else about the incident itself, but if there is something strange about her, I think she knows it herself. She has been awfully silent, just like Naruto, and she seems more depressed than usual. Fugaku nodded. She must have done it. I never thought it would work. I thought just sealing it in my daughter would get rid of her. It's not that I didn't want her, it's just, women Uchiha aren't always great ninja like the males are. I couldn't have been so wrong about her. Maybe I should pay her more attention. I will speak with her about this in private later. Kakashi-san, I will tell you, but I suspect there is someone lurking outside. He walked up to Kakashi and whispered to the man. His eyes widened. You can't be serious? Kakashi asked. Fugaku only nodded, and signaled that Kakashi should leave now. The man bowed and left the home. Fugaku had a lot to talk about with his daughter. Itachi-sama, what did Oto-sama say to Kakashi-sensei? Suzuki asked in a confused manner. Itachi's eyes were wide. He heard what his father unveiled to Kakashi and couldn't believe his ears. He just whispered to his sister, I didn't hear anything. Imuto. She looked defeated and walked off. Poor Suzuki, how dare Oto-sama do such a thing? Minato arrived at home via his Hiroshin. His wife instantly addressed him with the issue about Naruto. Minakuin, I think you need to speak with Naruto. He said to me he doesn't think he is just Naruto. I think you may know, she asked with worry in her voice, but the face Minato gave her was one she wasn't expecting. I know, I was intending to speak with him anyway. Please don't worry about it, Kushi-chan. Kakashi told me nothing bad about what happened, so we know that it doesn't hurt him. A smile of relief cropped onto her face. Now if you excuse me, dear, I must speak with Naruto. She nodded and Minato teleported upstairs using his Hiroshin. Minato had placed a 3-pronged kunai in each bedroom, and what a smart move it proved to be. Minato heard quiet sulking. He slowly opened the wardrobe's door and saw his son moping slightly. Naruto, I heard from Kakashi-san about the wave incident. Is there something that you'd like to speak about? He asked sympathetically. The boy nodded his head. To-san, is there something weird about me? He asked whilst stuttering slightly. A quiver was in his voice. Naruto, I would like to tell you a story about Konoha. You will understand when it's all over. Would you like to hear it? If you accept, you can't blame me for your knowledge. Naruto accepted the conditions as Minato started the story. This story goes back to the time of the first Hokage. He, along with a man called Madara Uchiha, created the village known as Konoha. Naruto, you know of the Mokutan that the first had. Well, that is what created our very foundations, and when it came to deciding a leader, everyone picked the first. Madara hated the proposal and left the village, saying he would get his revenge. What Madara didn't know was that the only reason everyone picked the first wasn't because he was any better than Madara. It was due to his ability to control Bijou, and the first had many of these under him, which were eventually shared out as peace treaties to other villages. Madara, filled with rage, returned to the village with the 9-tailed demon fox and challenged the first to a battle in a place known as the Valley of the End. Minato looked over to his son and saw that he had no idea of what he was saying and continued. This battle was so destructive that the whole earth ripped apart, and during this massive fight the Ninetales was used against the first, but because of his ability the Ninetales ended up as a useless object. The victor in the end was the first, and Madara died that day. However, the first made one crucial mistake, and that was not stopping the Ninetales from escaping. Over the years, all the bijou were rationed out around the world, sealed into various items, and sent to a village. The only one that remained free was the 9-tailed demon fox. Decades passed and many of these bijou were sealed into human containers known as Jinchuriki. They gave the human extraordinary powers, making them hard foes for ninja to fight. Konoha ourselves now have a bijou under our control, since the Uchiha defeated a Jinchuriki and quickly sealed the beast into a small raven statue. Naruto was starting to grasp the story slowly but had no idea how it related to him. Minato decided to continue with his story. The story of Bijou continued a few decades later when, as you know, the Ninetales, or the Kyuubi as he is called, attacked Konoha. You should know that the third Sarutobi Hiruzen slew the beast. However, this statement isn't true. It is correct that the third defeated the Kyuubi, but no human can kill a Bijou. And as I have mentioned, you can seal them, so the third sealed the Kyuubi into a young boy, but because of the immense chakra the Kyuubi contains, you needed a newborn whose chakra coils weren't developed, so the Kyuubi would be restrained as a chakra source for the child if need be. However, there was only one child that was eligible for the responsibility. Naruto, this child was you. And as I have told you before that the Kyuubi has always been free, that makes you the first ever Kyuubi Jinchuriki. The boy stayed silent, stunned completely. I have the Kyuubi inside of me. The boy started to shake. Does this mean I am a monster? I killed so many people. Tears flowed freely down his face. Naruto, you are not a monster. You are not the Kyuubi either. You didn't kill all those who died when the Kyuubi attacked. You are Naruto Namikaze, my son and the man who keeps the village safe from the Kyuubi every day but keeping it bottled up. If anything, Naruto, you are a hero, not just a hero. You can be classed as lucky. You may have the Kyuubi inside you, but he will grant you unbelievable powers, or so I believe. Also, you are not treated like other Jinchuriki, you are treated like a human. Being unlike most, now I think you should keep this secret from everyone, but I won't force you, though I recommend you telling Kakashi-san. Now there is one last thing. When you tapped into the Kyuubi chakra, Kakashi told me he felt another presence and that Suzuki was with you. What did you see? Naruto looked up at his father and told him, Suzuki had black wings, she was covered in a massive aura and had sort of claws. She also looked like an animal. How come San? Minato, hearing this, jolted up. He thanked his son for his understanding and quickly headed out to the Uchiha residence. Minato was correct. Fugaku had finally done it. Fugaku invited his daughter to his office alone. Suzuki slowly entered. What is it that you wish to speak about, Otosama? The girl asked, feeling slightly nervous about the situation. Her father had never asked to meet alone. It has come to my attention that in the wave you experienced something. Could you clarify to me what exactly happened? Fugaku asked, trying to sound as caring as possible. Well, Otosama, when me and Naruto were in this fight against a powerful ninja called Haku, I unlocked my Sharingan, then we combined, couldn't defeat him, and I was so overcome with fear for Naruto's safety that something odd happened. I felt a weird sensation and a voice told me to kill and protect, and before I knew it, me and Naruto had killed this ninja and we were just looking at each other. We both looked like monsters. If I am correct, I saw some black wings sprouting from me, and I kind of looked like a black bird, whilst Naruto was on all fours like a beast. That is all I know, Otosama, the young girl told her father. She did it. All these years after we claimed it, we finally have an Uchiha that can withstand its powers and not die from its original release. Maybe I was wrong about my daughter, Fugaku thought to himself. Then he laid eyes on his daughter Suzuki. My daughter, I couldn't be more proud of you than I am now, he said truthfully. These words formed tears in Suzuki's eyes. He's proud of me? Otosama, I don't understand. Why are you so proud that I turned into a monster? Suzuki asked, not understanding the situation. Suzuki, I will tell you a story about you and you will realize why you are so special. You see, an event happened 2 days before your birth, Suzuki. We, the Uchiha clan, have had 2 special powers under our control for decades. One is the Sharingan, and the other is something of unimaginable power. However, whenever we tried to bestow this power upon a newborn child, that child would die when they unlocked the power. This may sound bad to you, Suzuki, but I had hopes for a strong Uchiha woman, and this was a surefire way of making it succeed. But I'll be truthful that I didn't think you would succeed. However, this doesn't mean I was trying to kill you. You see, the power is one that we claimed when the Uchiha clan faced a terribly strong ninja known as the Demon of the Darkness. He was from the hidden village of Shadows, which no longer exists. When we killed this man, he let out a terrible beast which the Uchiha sealed, and for generations we have sealed this beast into many Uchiha who all died. You see, we wished for an Uchiha to steal another Kekkai Genkai which the demon of the darkness possessed. This was because the beast within him was also granted the power, as the beast inherited all special abilities that man had, or so we believe. Because of this we wish to possess it, and now you are the first Uchiha survivor, you may possess it. Suzuki, what I am trying to tell you is, you contain of the seven-tailed demonic raven. Otosama, are you trying to say I am special? The young girl pleaded slightly. The man smiled and nodded, which made Suzuki's mood brighten. So you are saying I have a demonic raven inside of me, and from what I am guessing I share my abilities with it as well, meaning we share chakra, am I correct? Fugaku was surprised with his daughter's intelligence. Yes, in theory you share chakra with the raven. It gives you massive supplies of chakra, and you can use it to take on more characteristics of the raven. However, don't do this foolishly. If I was you, I recommend trying to speak with it when it chooses to speak up. Do you understand me, Suzuki? Suzuki nodded to her father's question. Good. Now I recommend you getting some sleep. Don't tell anyone about this. The only person I permit you to tell is... At that second, the Hokage barged into Fugaku's office. Fugaku-san, please don't tell me you told her, the Hokage asked. Fugaku just nodded to his comment whilst Suzuki just stood in the center of the room confused. It was in her best interest to know about the raven. Don't worry, Hokage-sama. I am not like the former Uchiha leaders. I am not a warmonger bent on trying to take over this village. The only reason I did this was to make the Uchiha even more powerful. Fugaku claimed. Minato listened to the man and realized there was no false word spoken. Suzuki-chan, you saw Naruto, correct? The young girl nodded to Minato's question. Minato looked at the floor and told the girl, well, all I can say is you and him are the same. If you ever choose to tell him, you won't be judged. What do you mean, Hokage-sama? The girl asked, not understanding anything. Minato just smiled at the girl, glad she was rather innocent. Fugaku-san, I will tell you one thing that will never leave this room. I am only telling you this because I know of the raven, and you will surely understand these words I speak. The Kyuubi still lives. Those words made Fugaku's eyes widen. Suzuki spoke of Naruto looking like a beast. Don't tell me Minato's son also has a bijou. Why does the Namake's clan always catch up to us? I understand, Hokage-sama. Fugaku then looked at Suzuki. Dear, add another person to who you may tell they are Kakashi-san and Naruto-kun. Now please head off to bed whilst me and Minato talk. Suzuki ran out of the room heading for bed, feeling kind of pleased with herself. I would like it if you refer to me as Hokage-sama, Fugaku. Minato told the man jokingly before getting serious. I think we need to talk. Night broke into day, and two teens realized the source of all their worries. Naruto and Suzuki needed to get to Training Ground 31 to meet Kakashi, and as usual Naruto arrived first, with Suzuki arriving minutes later. However, it wasn't Naruto who was the first to speak up today. The girl, spotting Naruto, ran over to the boy who was relaxing on the sakura tree that he missed so much. Naruto-kun, I found out about, well, you know. Naruto nodded to her comment and tilted his head curiously. What is it that you know, Suzuki-chan? The boy asked, wondering how she would reply. The girl went kind of silent, then spoke up. My father told me that I have something inside of me. He told me a story about the Uchiha clan and how we got a mysterious power. This intrigued the boy, especially as he heard his father mention something similar last night. Well, how can I say this? My classification is... Well, what is it, Suzuki-chan? The boy asked, trying to restrain himself from forcing an answer out of her. I am known as a Jinchuriki. I am a container for the seven-tailed demonic raven. The word Jinchuriki echoed through the boy's head. Her Chuuha, he thought as he looked her in the eyes. She looked very nervous now. Suzuki-chan, don't feel nervous, especially around a fellow Jinchuriki, Naruto said to the girl, who instantly remembered the Hokage's words. The Kyuubi still live. I am the container of the Kyuubi. Suzuki finished off Naruto's sentence, making his jaw drop. His eyes were asking her how. I know this because I heard some strange words from your father when he spoke to mine about the raven. He told him that the Kyuubi still lives, and that means he was never killed by the third. Naruto absorbed all the information and realized that him and Suzuki were in the same boat and smiled at her. Well, at least I know that I have something in common with the cutest girl in Konoha. These words made the raven-haired girl blush. It's true, my raven angel Naruto told her, making her think mine. Kakashi was characteristically late for the meeting. He revealed to the group that he signed them up for the Chuunin exams. He told them that all of them had to participate, meaning Sakura had to as well. Naruto and Suzuki looked extremely confident, however Sakura thought otherwise. We are only new academy graduates, and now you are asking us to do something so risky? I think not. I don't know about you two, but I am refusing. Sakura screamed. Ino's team is taking part, and so is the other Genin squad. These words made Sakura change her mind, screaming that if Ino was doing it, she had to do it, and she would do it better than her as well. Good thinking, Kakashi Nizan. Kakashi smiled at his comment, then saw the look in Naruto's eyes. Me and Suzuki need to tell you something, Naruto told his sensei, who nodded and asked Sakura to stay put. What is it, you two? The older man asked, sounding irritated for unknown reasons. Well, how can I say this easily? Oh, I know. I think that you should know that Suzuki and I are. Jinchuriki's Kakashi cut Naruto off. He knew already basically, and asked Minato more about Suzuki later on after their first discussion. Why does everyone keep butting in whenever I speak today? This is getting so annoying. Suzuki and Kakashi just laughed at the irritated blonde. Kakashi then ordered the two to stand next to Sakura so they could get this meeting about the exam out of the way. You three, the exam will start tomorrow. This was the last chance to get you guys registered, so I recommend you lot to get ready for the exam. You three have to go to the academy tomorrow at 8, so don't be late. And with that, Kakashi disappeared.
Wait, why did I accept this? Asked Sakura. She completely forgot about the fact that Ino would be taking part in the exams. Because quite frankly, Sakura, you are retarded at times, and with that comment Naruto and Suzuki disappeared from sight, thanks to Naruto using Shunshin to teleport the two away. Once again Sakura was left alone to her thoughts in the middle of the training ground. Naruto-kun, I can't believe this. We are going to take part in the Chuunin exams. We will be Chuunin before we know it, the raven-haired girl told her blonde teammate. I suppose we will, Suzuki-chan, the boy replied to her whilst they walked through town together. Suppose? You must be crazy, Naruto-kun. You are the most talented genin I have ever seen. How can you take that sort of attitude? Suzuki asked the boy, who went silent. If we get complacent we will lose. We can't assume we will be the best. Always think that someone is a challenge. Don't look down on them, because as we have proved, there may be something secret that they contain. Suzuki went quiet at this and nodded. She knew he was correct. Naruto slipped his hand into Suzuki's and was now walking through some back alleys of Konoha when he heard the sound of children crying. He rushed over to the vicinity to see three ninja. One had a cloud headband whilst the others had sand headbands. One of the sand ninja was hitting these children. Naruto recognized one of them as Konohamaru. Whilst the sand ninja was doing this, the other two just stood quietly, not caring. Heck, the cloud ninja didn't even look like she was with the sand group. Naruto shunshined to the sand ninja and punched the male in the face, sending him flying. Before the cloud ninja could prevent anything, Suzuki somehow restricted her by just thinking of restraining her. She noticed a black grip on the girl's ankle. This must be that Kekei Genkai that Oda-sama spoke of, but what is it? Before the fight could get serious, a man materialized next to Naruto, which completely freaked Naruto out. I would like to apologize about my teammate, he then scolded the man, who was now revealed to be Kankuro. Oi girlie, how did you do that? Shouted the cloud ninja to Suzuki, who was as equally confused as she was when Suzuki heard a voice speaking to her. Kill her, that woman over there. Before the voice could tell Suzuki the rest of its sentence, Suzuki butted in. So you finally talk and you ask me to kill. How nostalgic this feels. Now that we have spoken, I need to ask you something. Suzuki sarcastically spoke to the raven. Don't speak like that towards me. I helped you back in the wave because I thought you would be like my old master, the raven told Suzuki, who was stunned now. Old master? Suzuki asked to her inner demon. You know, the one your father called Demon of the Darkness. He was just like you. He had excellent potential and a personality that I liked. You possess it as well, unlike all the others that I was sealed into. Because I didn't like them, I made my chakra kill them off, the raven told its container. So basically I am your new master? Suzuki asked, thinking that she was correct. Technically yes, but I will not grant you all my power, not until you are much older. I don't want to take the risk in stunning your growth now, do I? The raven asked Suzuki, already giving her the answer in a way. Suzuki was shocked at how understanding this bird was and asked it a question. What was it that I just did to that girl, and what is this Kekei Genkai that my father spoke of? The demon went silent and finally said, you used a Yamadan technique. It is the Kekei Genkai that your father spoke of. It is the ability to use darkness as an element. It is as unique as the first Smokutan. Suzuki was shocked and asked, you knew the first? Well, of course I did, stupid. Didn't you know that he could control all bijou? So of course I would know of his Mokutan. Now my little crow, I will block of communication with you for now, but we will speak whenever you wish. But until then, good luck in your exam. And with that the voice of the raven disappeared. The girl looked at Suzuki looking confused. She still hadn't answered her question and she was getting rather irritated. You seem to be a powerful one, the red-haired sand ninja commented on Naruto. Kill him, Kit, he is. Oh, shut up, Kyubi. Now that you spoke to me, let's have a little chat, Naruto ordered the Kyubi, who actually complied. It seemed quite docile. What makes you think I will speak to you, Kit? Asked the Kyubi, wondering how the child knew. It was just a hunch. Now I want you to tell me something. What can you grant me that can make me more powerful? So I got a determined first container. That is a surprise. Well, Kid, I can grant you a special taijutsu that isn't able to be copied as it requires my power to use it, or someone who owns some of my chakra. I also increase your power to unimaginable strengths, but this won't happen until later on. A small body like yours won't be able to withstand a lot of my chakra, but I can tell you this. Your style of taijutsu can be modified to contain mine and yours together. Mine consist of what you humans call punches, but I hope you change the name of your style to something like Kyubi Mayabita Handu. You will gradually learn it over time subconsciously. Your father told you enough about me, so that is all for now. We will speak some other time. The Kyubi said before silencing. What is your name? The sand ninja asked Naruto, who just snapped out of his trance. Why do you wish to know? Asked Naruto. He knew why, he just wanted something to make him feel good. I like to know the names of strong ninja who are future opponents, the red-haired boy replied, which made Naruto smile. I am Naruto Namikaze, and you are, if I may ask? Naruto asked in a cocky tone as the sand ninja started to walk off. I am Sabaku no Gara, he replied as the sand team turned a corner, thus getting out of sight. The Cloud Ninja and Suzuki both noticed the event, thinking how odd it was. Then it gave the Cloud Ninja an idea. Hey you, what is your name? She asked curiously, wanting to know the name of the person she would destroy. I am Suzuki Uchiha, and you are? Suzuki replied in a similar manner to what Naruto did. I am Yujito Ni. I hope to see you in the Chuunin exams, she replied before hopping away with cat-like reflexes. It asked me to kill again, Suzuki-chan, Naruto said, gaining Suzuki's attention. You too, huh? He said as she nodded. Naruto smiled and grasped her hand. We are going to have some tough times ahead starting tomorrow, so let's make the most of today. Naruto commented, making Suzuki nod, thinking to herself, when will he realize my feelings? The next day came faster than the Genin thought it would, and before they knew it they were all at the academy. The time was 8 and many Genin were entering the structure. They were all from different nations. Some of these were cloud, rock, sand, rain, grass, mist, and even sound, which was a new nation.
The three walked through the doors and headed for their destination, which was room 321, which was located on the 3rd floor. When reaching the 2nd floor, they saw the sign for 321 and a weird-looking ninja was trying to enter it, just having an older-looking ninja throw him back. The weird ninja looked weak, but Naruto and Suzuki knew otherwise and quickly skipped through the area. Unlucky for them, they were pursued by the weird ninja and his team. Wait up, shouted the weird ninja, who was wearing green spandex and donned a shiny bowl haircut. Naruto and the rest of Team 7 froze still, with Naruto turning around and asking, why should we? The boy looked back at him with a cheeky smile and ordered that he fight Suzuki, the Sharingan user. Naruto quickly intervened, saying that if he wanted to fight Suzuki he would have to go through him. The boy's teammate, noticing that it was going to get rather heated, shouted, Lee, let's stop all this for now and wait. You will get a chance to fight in the exam. You can tell just by looking at them that they are contenders. Then Lee's teammate turned to Team 7 and said, I am sorry for the inconvenience. I am 1010 and this boy next to me is Hyuga Niji, and of course you have met him, Rock Lee. Team 7 nodded to Tenten's comment and smiled back at her in unison. Naruto finally speaking up, I am Naruto Namikaze, this is Uchiha Suzuki and the pink-haired girl is Haruno Sakura. Before Naruto could say anything else he saw Rock Lee blushing at Sakura. He then commented, take her if you wish, she is of no use to us. He tried to make it sound like he was joking, to which everyone laughed except Niji. The ninja finally split up into their respective teams, and entered this room 321 that they had to. A big bright light burned their vision as they entered. When they looked around they saw thousands of hopeful Genin, and then Team 7 noticed the other rookies, who were surprised to see Team 7. Hi everyone, Naruto commented as Ino jumped onto him. He needed an excuse to get her off of him. She knew she would never let go. Stop it. Why would I want you when I have a girlfriend already? Naruto shouted at Ino. All the rookies gasped including Suzuki, when Kiba said yeah as if Naruto, who is it then? Naruto clasped Suzuki's hand and told them all that it was her. Suzuki fainted, causing Naruto to catch her then hold her in his arms to make it more believable. Naruto could feel the negative energy being given off by some of the male Konoha rookies. Lucky bastard, most of them thought to themselves. Hey you lot, will you keep it down over there, you're attracting too much attention, a silver-haired Genin told them. They then looked at the crowd of Genin who were all glaring. So who cares what's bad about getting attention? Naruto asked, trying to sound cool, but he utterly failed. Well, go ahead and get into a fight with everyone, it will help me with my data, the boy told Naruto, who tilted his head. Data? Naruto asked, now sounding very intrigued. Do you have data on other Genin who are participating in the exams? Naruto asked. The silver-haired man nodded. This caused 3 Sound Ninja to look up and attack the man. They didn't want anyone to learn how their attacks worked. The Sound Ninja quickly incapacitated the man, causing him to throw up. Before any further assaults could happen, the wall was smashed open. Shut up maggots and do as you're told. I am Ibiki Marino, your proctor for the first exam. Now all of you enter the classroom and don't speak until spoken to. You may sit where you want just as long as you don't sit next to your teammates. All the Genin complied, slowly entering the classroom and seizing their seats. Naruto ended up sitting next to Hinata and some random grass ninja. Alright, you have 45 minutes to do the test. If you are caught cheating you lose 3 points, you originally have 10 points and you need 5 points to pass. Now begin. All the Genin flipped open their exam sheets, and upon reading the first question Naruto realized he had no idea on how to do these answers. He was starting to panic. He only heard one sound of a pencil moving, and that was from the pink-haired girl in front of him. He could fault her physical attributes as a ninja, but he had to admit she was smart. Suzuki was sitting at the back thinking to herself, wouldn't you usually be sent out of an exam instantly if you were found cheating? How come it's so different now? Unless they want us to cheat, but there is one flaw in that plan. Naruto has no spying jutsu, so he won't be able to work it out. She then thought of how she was going to get answers. Whilst all this was going on, everyone else had a way to get answers. The 10-10 girl somehow got a mirror on the ceiling, then used it to copy other people's answers. She then used her headband to signal to Lee that he should look up, thus giving him the answers. Hinata and Niji both used their Byakugan to see through people and read their answers, thus giving them the answers for the test. Yujidoni was using her cat reflexes to good use. Because she was so quick she was able to look at people's answers and then use the correct movements to make it look like she was just browsing around the class. Ino used her mind control techniques to take over Sakura's mind, then copy her answers. Then she took over her team's minds and wrote the answers for them. Kiba used Akamaru to scout for answers, and Shino used some bugs to look for answers. Suzuki came up with an idea for Naruto, but he would need to have his Sakugan activated. She activated her Sharingan and also sent chakra into her hands and started writing. Naruto luckily enough had his Sakugan activated, and sensed the hand movements and thought to himself, thank you Suzuki-chan. Meanwhile the sand ninja were using their techniques. Gaara materialized an eye made of sand in front of one person's answers, then read them, then he disintegrated the eye once he was done. After this he used his sand to materialize on the female sand ninja's paper. The sand was arranged so all she had to do was trace over it. Kankuro used a weird puppet to get answers, then he asked the instructor if he was allowed to go to the bathroom. The instructor nodded and Kankuro left the room with an invigilator behind him. When they were out of sight, Kankuro revealed the invigilator to be his own puppet. You'd think that they would notice another examiner. After the 45 minutes were up, Ibiki called time. Thousands of Genin had already been kicked out of the exam for cheating and only around half remained. Ibiki was about to announce something when Kankuro came back just in time. now let's stop doing puppet shows and get on with this, shouted Ibiki. Kankuro looked shocked that the man knew of Karasu. Once all the genin were seated, Ibiki announced that there was going to be one more question, the 10th and final question. He told them that if you took it and succeeded you would pass the exam, but if you answered incorrectly you would be kicked out of the exam and never have the right to take the exam again. Kiba protested, saying that others had taken the exam before, but Ibiki just told him that they had bad luck, that he was the proctor this year. So what will it be? Will you take it or not? Choose now, shouted Ibiki. Naruto was shaking in his seat. He may have been a genius, but if the exam questions were too hard to answer even one, how would he answer a new question? He was contemplating giving up right there. Whilst Naruto was fighting an inner battle to see if he should or shouldn't take the chance, many teams had quit, causing the numbers to dwindle even more. Naruto finally roared loudly, shouting, "I will not give up. Who cares? Rank doesn't mean everything. I will reach my dreams my own way, so I won't give up." Ibiki looked shocked and asked the boy if he was sure. When Naruto told him that he was definitely sure, everyone who remained in the classroom got a confidence boost. Ibiki looked to an examiner who nodded. Ibiki then smiled and announced, "To all those who decided to stay, I have thing to say. You pass." The whole room erupted into confused groans. Some asked about the 10th question. When Ibiki told them there never was one, some got very angry. The fact that you stayed to challenge the illustrious 10th question is the answer to it. There will be times when you are asked to do a mission, to leave or to continue. The answer is to continue. That is what we look for in a Chuunin, and you did it right here. Ibiki then removed his headband to reveal battle scars and drill holes embedded into his skull. Information is important. This can happen if you don't have the right information, or if an enemy asks for it. That is what this exam is about, and I am proud to say that you all pass. Now all I can say is I hope you do well in the rest of your exam. Just after Ibiki finished talking, a loud smash was heard and a purple-haired woman was now standing in front of the class with a banner hang behind her, which she put up by using her kunai. "You're a little early," again Ibiki commented, making the woman blush out of embarrassment. She laughed it off a little, then told the man, 72 people, 24 teams? That's too much, isn't it? Maybe you're getting soft, Ibiki-san. The woman commented on how many people passed the exam. Or maybe we have a lot of talented genin this year, Ibiki replied to the woman, who just smiled sadistically. Well, when I am done with them there will be less than half of them. This made the whole class gulp, thinking to themselves, less than half. The purple-haired woman then faced the class and announced, "I am Mitarashi Enko, proctor for the second exam, and right now, your own personal hell."